Thank you very much for that, Ellie. We'll keep you up to date with everything that happens in that. Meanwhile, in Toronto, Vicky Sparks and David Edgar are inside the stadium, the dulcet tones of Mickey Bubbles. Vicky, what can we expect before kick-off?
So yes, this is the second half of the opening ceremony, Kelly. Michael Bublé has just been on stage performing, as I'm sure you heard, and now the flag bearers of the 48 nations taking part in this World Cup are making their way off stage left, and now two huge flags are going to be unfurled as more volunteers in the centre wrap away some of the trappings. Michael Bublé is standing on this golden and blue stage. It's in the shape of a globe and it says FIFA World Cup 2026 around it. And Alanis Morissette is going to be coming out very shortly to sing the Canadian national anthem. The Bosnian national anthem is going to be performed by Alexander Gajic, who is going to be playing on the violin. He's based in Toronto. And we're going to have a flyover as well, just as the national anthem concludes, of Canada. The Canadian Snowbirds, Canada's military aerobatics team, the equivalent of the Red Arrows in Britain, are going to soar across the stadium. And as I look up, it's blue sky, fluffy white clouds interspersed, a helicopter, a couple of helicopters circling round. The sun is out, Kelly. Toronto is ready.
Vicky, back with you in just a second. Asmir Begovic is also with us throughout the course of the evening. Asmir, give us an idea of what we can expect from this young Bosnia side.
Well, it's a really young, energetic team. They have a great togetherness about them. I think maybe not the biggest household names within the team and playing at maybe some of the biggest clubs, but actually that's brought a bit of unity to the team. There is no one standout star player besides Edin Dzeko we mentioned, but he's not starting. So it's all about the collective effort and making sure the work rate's there, the togetherness is there. The Bosnian team is, throughout qualifying and even in the playoffs, they've been quite happy to be in a defensive block and soak up a bit of pressure and then transition really fast, counterattack really fast, and use their size at set plays. They've got really big physical players, so they're going to try and use that to their advantage as well. So it's a team that has a couple of really exciting young players. Bajrak Tarevic, as you mentioned earlier, he's going to come in up that right-hand side with his left foot. And Ale Begovic, who's starting on the bench today, can also come make a difference. So it's going to be a young team, I think a really competitive team. And they're going to give it their absolute best to try and get a result here in Toronto today.
It's a really interesting group with Canada and Bosnia and Qatar and Switzerland. Is there an expectation that they can make it out of this group?
Well, the thing is really, as we said, it's such a young team that it's probably ahead of schedule. So actually, in terms of expectation and pressure, there isn't much. But then when you look at the group and the group they were handed, it actually played into their hands a little bit where it looks quite open. So, I think with the quality they have, and if they get off to a good start today, I remember myself in 2014, for as good as we played against Argentina, all the plaudits that we had, we lost the game in the end. And that puts you right away on the back foot. So I think if they can get off to a good start, obviously we'll try and win the game. Worst case, get a point. I think it gets them on the board and actually gives them a lot more confidence going forward in what is a wide open group to try and progress.
And Asmir, you're going to be staying with us, as I say, throughout the evening here on 5 Live Sport. Our commentary match, though, Canada against Bosnia, as one of the co-hosts gets their World Cup campaign underway. Vicky Sparks, we're about to see Alanis Morissette. I have seen her live before, but not quite in these circumstances.
What a moment this is for her. What a moment this is for Canada. She's out there on the stage as the entire squads gather around the centre circle. After the frenzy and the passion of the Azteca, it is Toronto's turn to take centre stage as Canada take to the pitch for their first ever men's World Cup match on Canadian soil. Here we go with the national anthem. set sings "Oh Canada" as the fireworks shoot into the sky. We've got plumes of red and white smoke away to my left inside the stadium here in Toronto, and plumes of yellow and blue smoke away to my right. David Edgar, former Canada captain, alongside me. How emotional was that for you?
Yeah, it is. It's emotional. You got a couple of Canadian treasures before, and Michael Bublé and Alanis Morissette, Moose, some whales. It's getting there. It's getting there.
Because what a moment this is for Canada. Their first ever time hosting a men's World Cup. It is their third World Cup in their history, their second in a row. They have never got so much as a point at a World Cup before. They've lost all 6 of their previous World Cup games. Is today, David, the day that changes?
I think it is. I think today's the day history gets made. We get our first win, and we start this group off properly. We change Canadian soccer forever here.
But do not write off Bosnia and Herzegovina, because they are the heartbreakers. That's how one journalist put it in the press conference here at Toronto Stadium yesterday. They thrive as the underdogs. They beat Wales in the playoff semi-finals. They beat Italy in the playoff final, both on penalties. And they are a side, David, that seem to relish this tag of coming into games where they're not the favourites, as again, they're not here today.
Yeah, they've proven they can be the underdogs in the playoffs against Wales and Italy. And as Mears talked about, they're playing with house money here. The project wasn't supposed to be until 2028, and they're here, and they can play with freedom and an excitement and really go out there and attack Canada.
So we're going to have a little delay before kick-off here, as we did as the Azteca yesterday, because they're just dismantling the big stage that Alanis Morissette and the violinist who played the Bosnian national anthem, Alexander Gajic, were standing upon. But that's all been folded away. The volunteers are taking it off the pitch to our left, that blue and gold stage. And Bosnia's players are almost ready to go. Their captain today, with Edin Dzeko on the bench, is the former Arsenal man, Sead Kolasinac. And he is there with the deputy vice-captain, Stephen Eustáquio, for Canada. Alphonso Davies is listed among their substitutes, their regular skipper, but as we've said on 5 Live this afternoon, that is fairly standard practice for these tournaments. Jesse Marsh is very clear that he's not available for this one, but he's on the bench today as part of the squad to take part in this momentous occasion. For Canada, Tani Oluwaseyi comes in up top for Southampton loanee Kyle Larin. That is Canada's only change from their friendly draw with Ireland, and he will partner their record scorer Jonathan David up top. And it's impossible, David, to understate the importance that Jonathan David is to Canada.
He's a massive player. He's a superstar for us. We just need him to hit the back of the net today. He hasn't had many goals recently for Canada. Just keep getting in those positions. The chances will come. They created many against Ireland. And hopefully Tanny can bring out the best of Jonathan today up front.
And the camera has just panned here in the stadium to Edin Dzeko, who starts on the bench for Bosnia and Herzegovina. The 40-year-old has been recovering from a shoulder injury. He's not actually started since they beat Italy in the playoff final on penalties back at the end of March. In terms of their one change from their friendly draw with Panama, their 18-year-old starlet Kerem Alajbegovic drops to the bench, and Ermedin Demirovic comes in. So Bosnia and Herzegovina will get us underway, playing in their white kit with the dark blue sleeves. Canada all in red. Prepare to defend the half away to our right, and that is the half behind which the Bosnian fans are, this huge pocket of blue. And it's also, David, you were telling me, where the Canadian ultras, the Voyagers, are going to be as well. That's
usually we hear the noise behind that end on the water side here, the stadium here at Toronto.
So here we go, the countdown is over. Canada's first ever match as a host country at a men's World Cup is off and underway. They have lost all 6 of their previous World Cup games. Will this be the day that more history is made? It's a really open group. Mark Chapman described it as the group of life rather than the group of death in this World Cup. And they have a throw on this near side, the left, early on in these opening seconds here. It's Hull's Liam Miller who is going to take it. We'll take you through the full lineups in a moment, but Miller launches it in to the 6-yard box. Bosnia make first contact. It's helped across by Diffuserol and goes out of play for a Canada corner, and that is exactly the sort of energy with which Jesse Marsh would have wanted to see Canada start.
Yeah, perfect start, getting the ball in the channels, getting a chance. We've got a corner here now, and it's going to be a game of both boxes.
So it is Canada's captain on the day, Stefan Eustachio, who is over the set-piece specialist to take this corner from the near side in the little slice of shade. It's around 25 degrees here in the afternoon in Toronto, very pleasant in the shade. As Eustachio plays it short to the edge of the 6-yard box. Jonathan David trying to keep it alive, Canada's record goal scorer, but Bosnia will eventually clear. And Maxime Crepeau, the man who has been given the nod as Canada's number one for this tournament. That was a decision made just only a week ago by Jesse Marsh. He's there to meet it. And Bosnia will now pick it up over on that left-hand side. Heavy challenge on the former Arsenal man, Sead Kolasinac, and you can hear by the cheers inside Toronto Stadium that the free kick has gone the way of Bosnia and Herzegovina, third of the way inside the Canada half. Over on the left-hand side, it's goalless, David Edgar.
Yeah, straight away, Bosnia's not looking to mess around with the ball at the back, get it in, get it up there to the strikers early doors and see what Canada's young defenders can do.
Well, they don't have Edin Dzeko to aim for, he's on the bench, but they do have height up from the back. The likes of Tarek Muharemovic, the centre-half, one of those who's gone forward as Bosnia play the free kick into the penalty area. It's headed back across and met and blazed over from 12 yards. Well, that was a decent chance. The first real opening of the game goes to Bosnia, and it goes to Amar Memic. Canada did well, the red shirts, to try and close him down. He blazes his shot into the stands behind that goal, which is a real mix of red and blue here in Toronto.
Yeah, Mimic has done well to get onto that, blazes over the bar, but Canada's going to have to watch. Everything's going to come in the box here from corners and free kicks. Yeah,
they are good at doing that, Bosnia. They love to get the balls to their wide men, send it into the penalty area as Luke de Fougerolles, the 20-year-old, given the nod today, with injuries still affecting this Canada squad. He is in possession for Canada, and now they work it forward to Kone. And down the right-hand side, Jonathan David getting involved and will be picked up, played to the edge of the area. Miller was trying to latch onto it, but it's cleared away by Bosnia. Up to their man up top, Ermedin Demirovic. 15 goals he's got for Stuttgart this season. He is one of the players who plays for Bosnia in Europe's top leagues. Third season in a row, actually. He's reached double figures in the Bundesliga. 12 in the German top flight this season. As Bosnia have a throw over on the far side, and they're just slowing the play down. Early doors, not rushing. They know their status, they know they're underdogs. And they don't mind that at all, because they've had so much success in that vein as the ball forwards goes all the way out of play for a Canada goal kick, goalless.
Yeah, decent enough start from both teams, just easing their way into the game now.
As Canada play the ball up towards the halfway line, goes straight out of play. That's very nicely controlled there by Jesse Marsh with the outside of his boot, the former Leeds manager. This is his first job since being sacked by Leeds back in 2023. He's been in charge of Canada since May 2024. He's the first American to manage Canada's men's side. Almost.
I think that's all managers' dreams, isn't it? When the ball comes to you, if you've ever played before, is to bring it down and have a good touch on the touchline. So
Bosnia and Herzegovina have won a free kick, third of the way inside the Canada half. Goalless here in the early stages on 5 Live and BBC Sounds in Toronto. This opening World Cup match for both Canada and Bosnia. As the ball is swung into the Canada area once again, and the header is nodded wide by Jovo Lukic. And behind again for another Canada goal kick.
As we see there, one from the left, one from the right. It doesn't matter the distance, they're going to get in the box. They've got big, strong, powerful strikers and attackers and defenders to attack these set pieces. Canada's going to have to deal with that.
So it will be Derek Cornelius, the centre-half, who comes over to take this goal kick short. Back to Crepeau, the goalkeeper, all in bright blue. It's launched long, looking for the run of Oluwaseyi, but Bosnia tidy up. And it's cleared away by their goalkeeper, Nikola Vasil. And they'll retain possession, Bosnia, over to the left-hand side, and Kolasinac again looking to spring the run down the left-hand side, this time of Lukic. And it is well defended over on that far side by Canada's right back, Celtic's Alistair Johnston. And again, Canada have another goal kick. Let's head for an update from the cricket. Eleanor Oldroyd.
The England innings is over, this opening match of the T20 World Cup, and they have put down a strong marker for everyone else. 219 for 1 they have scored. Danny Wyatt-Hodge not out, 105 off just 62 balls, including 13 fours and a 6. Magnificent from her. 46 not out from the captain, Nat Sciver-Brunt, as well. 53 from Amy Jones, but England in a really strong position in this early stage of the Cricket World Cup, we will see the Sri Lanka innings in 10 minutes or so.
Thank you very much, Ellie. Commentary when that innings begins for Sri Lanka will be on 5 Sports Extra. Bosnia in possession here. It's away by Canada and Derek Cornelius, but they just can't latch onto the ball at the moment, the Canadians. And again, Kolasinac is having another foray down that left-hand side. Good foot in by Buchanan. And got a little nick off Kolasinac on the way through as well, and we'll go out for a Canada throw. David Edgar.
Both teams just need to get the ball down and play, have a bit of composure. And it's understands the first game of the World Cup and there's a bit of nerves, but really need just to get down and keep the ball on the ground and play.
Jonathan David went down there rather than keeping the ball down on the ground, but he didn't get the free kick from our referee Facundo Tello of Argentina. And Bosnia will come again. Lovely ball out to this right-hand side and will be nicely controlled by Baraktarovic, but in the end couldn't quite bring the ball under his spell. And Canada will pick it up, but they dispossess. Oliver Shea's lost it, tries to win it back, can't do so. Bosnia under a little bit of pressure, but Tahirovic has done well to steer it back to Maharamovic and all the way back to their goalkeeper Nikola Vasil, very much the established Bosnian number 1. As Eustachio steals it for Canada. And now Johnston of Celtic plays it forward, looking for the run of Tejan Buchanan. He's up against Kolasinac. And Buchanan has done well to keep it away from the man known in Bosnia as the Bosnian Hulk. And in the end, Kolasinac does get the better of him. There's a foul committed by Tejan Buchanan. And Bosnia will have the free kick over in the sunshine on the far side, 5 yards or so up from their yellow corner flag. It's goalless. We've played 8 minutes.
That's something Canada's going to look to do and isolate their wingers, the speedy wingers, and Miller and Buchanan. Just try and get the ball in behind and turn the defenders to face their own goal.
And that was a nice layoff out to the left-hand side by Lukic. And Bosnia will win the throw. They're being told by referee Teo to take it from exactly where the ball went out of play. And they will do just that. As the sun is blazing down here Toronto. I'm just looking to my left and my right where you have these open stands that have actually been constructed for the World Cup. They've added around 17,000 seats here at Toronto Stadium, as it's known for the World Cup, which means it has a capacity of around 45,000. And we were talking about empty seats. I can't see that many. There's a few scattered around. We see little pockets of white and red, but mostly, I would say this is pretty near to a sellout, as Laraya for Canada will take this throw. 9 minutes gone. Canada midway through the Bosnian half. Forward to their record goal scorer Jonathan David, and now out to this left-hand side, and Liam Miller of Hull, who wins another throw. So let's rattle through the Canada side. It's Crepeau in goal, the back foot of Johnston, Diffuserol of Fulham, spent the season on loan with Dender in Belgium, Cornelius and Laraya ahead of them, Buchanan, Eustachio, Kone and Miller, with Oliver Shea and record scorer Jonathan David up top as Liam Miller launches in this long throw again. Bosnia make first contact, head the ball out of the penalty area, and Eustachio will steer it all the way back to Crepeau. It was a real battle, wasn't it, David Edgar, between Crepeau and Dane Sinclair as to who would be Canada's number 1. Right choice by Jesse Marsh?
I think Jesse's made the right decision. Maxime Crepeau has been fantastic for Canada. He was excellent in the Copa, playing all 5 games on the way to the semi-finals. And nothing against Dane Sinclair, both fantastic goalkeepers, but you got to choose one in the end. And the race went right down to the wire, and Maxime's got the gloves, so it's his position to lose now.
Here is Kone in possession, central midfield for Canada, recovered from illness to be available to start this opener, and then given away by Oliver Shea, who pats the pitch with both hands in despair as Johnston then goes diving in. That's going to be a yellow card for Alistair Johnston. It's going to be a free kick for Bosnia and Herzegovina, and that is definitely taking one for the team there, David Edgar.
Yeah, little hand up from Oluwaseyi to Johnson, just apologising for that pass. Puts him in a bit of trouble facing his own goal, and he's forced to make a lunging challenge. And you've got a fullback on a yellow card early doors here now with a lot of football left to play.
It's not a great challenge. We do have VAR. I think it's on the borderline of clumsy. I don't think it will be more, but we shall see. So it was a good run down that left-hand side by Amar Memic. They do seem to be targeting that left to attack Bosnia.
Yeah, I think they've probably looked at the game footage of Canada. Richie Leray on this left-hand side, who's deputised excellently for Alphonso Davies, is really, really quick and fast and strong in his 1v1 battles. And Alistair Johnson's just coming back to full fitness, so maybe we're just seeing that there in that late challenge.
Yeah, he is another who has really struggled, as David quite rightly says, with injury this season. He has missed most of the campaign with hamstring injuries. 11 appearances in total for Celtic as they won the Scottish Premiership, only back at the end of April. But a big player for Canada. He was in the team of the tournament at Copa America, where, as David said, they reached the semi-finals. Disappointing Gold Cup last year, though. Lost on penalties in the quarter-finals as Bosnia swing this free kick in. And they got a couple of bites at it. It was the two forwards up there, Demirovic and Lukic, both going for the header. Lukic made the definitive contact, and it was an easy save in the end for Crepo, but Canada have given the ball away again. At the moment, Bosnia is shading it. Here's Lukic out to the right-hand side and picked up by Barakterovic, zipping the ball around nicely, Bosnia, as Barakterovic, the youngster, has it again, but plays it into Liam Miller. And Mariah will tidy up towards Derek Cornelius, and they just about got away with one there, Canada. It wasn't the best clearance from Cornelius, but it hit to Hirovic on the head. It goes out of play for a Canada throw midway through their own half. 12 minutes gone, and it is still goalless here in Toronto. Canada with the throw on the left-hand side.
Yeah, Bosnia testing on the set pieces again. Canada's defensive unit will want to get first contacts on those. That's 3 now, uncontested in the air.
Well, they are so strong in the air, Bosnia, and they're defending there. Not in the air, rather unorthodox by Sead Galasinac, the former Arsenal man, swiping the ball. Rather miss-kicking it away from Canada's top scorer, Jonathan David, all the way back to Nikola Vasil. So, yes, Vasil in goal for Bosnia. The back four of Dedic, Katic, Moharemovic and Galasinac. Ahead of them, Barakterovic, Basic, Tahirovic and Memic, with Demirovic and Lukic up top as Canada come down the right-hand side. Ball in looking for Oluwaseyi, and it's hacked over the bar by Bosnia. It was their number 7, Amar Dedic, back there, the Benfica man. And it's out of play for a Canada corner on the far side, 0-0.
Yeah, good quick play there from Alistair Johnston to get the throw in early. Jonathan David down the line and just couldn't quite pick out his man in the centre of the box.
So Eustachio is over again to take this corner, forced an own goal in their final friendly against the Republic of Ireland from this sort of position. What can he do here? He plays it short again, gets it back from Buchanan. Now will swing the ball in. Oluwaseyi was in there. Bosnia clear the ball out of the penalty area. Tahirovic tries to steer it forward, and then Demirovic sees his ball forwards. Hit a Canadian player. An appeal for handball there, and it's given it's a free kick to Bosnia midway through their own half. Oh, I'll tell you what, it wasn't a handball, actually. It hit our referee, Facundo Teo. So Bosnia will get possession and get the drop ball and get us back underway here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, as it's played all the way back to their goalkeeper Nikola Vasil, all in bright yellow. But we have to say, the stands around us, apart from that pocket of Bosnian fans over to our right-hand side, which is a little sea of blue, and another little line in the lower stand as well. It is all red, a red out, as Jesse Marsh promised. Here goes Oluwaseyi for Canada, plays the ball into the area just ahead of Jonathan David, will be recycled by Buchanan over on the far side. He's got a bit of space on the right, now in field to Kone, plays it to the edge of the area, but cleared away by Demirovic, who was back there defending And it's all the way midway through Canada's half with Crepo, David Edgar.
That's what Ishmael Coney's absolutely excellent at, receiving in the half turn, driving forward past opponents and looking for that slip pass. Although O'Shea just couldn't find Jonathan David in the middle now. But this is better from Canada.
Yes, you get the sense they're settling into their stride here in Toronto as Liam Miller has it down the left-hand side. Infield to Lariah. Now out to the left-hand side, and Miller once again found by Kone. Miller down to the byline, scoots the ball in. Buchanan was there, very, very important header by Kolasinac to clear away. But Canada will come again. This is their best spell of the game so far, the co-hosts at this World Cup. Johnston's delivery in, Bosnia haven't cleared it, and the shot in the end was right down the throat of Nikola Vasil. What a chance that was for Canada. And it was the man you would have wanted it to fall to as well. Their record goal scorer, Jonathan David, straight to Vasil.
If there's anyone you want the ball to fall to from 12 yards out in the middle of the goal, it's Jonathan David. Just didn't put his left foot through it, but tried to place it and play around the goalkeeper, but just wasn't quite on. Just put your foot through it.
Well, he mentioned David Edgar, former Canada captain, with us here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, that he's not been in the best goal-scoring form for Canada lately. 8 goals for Juventus this season in Serie A, but it's the first time in his career that he hasn't hit double figures in a domestic season as Canada win a free kick just inside their own half. So he will be desperate to find a bit of form at the perfect time.
Yeah, and that's where the Canadian fans want to see Jonathan David, in the box, not dropping so far deep and not being able to get up there and join his second striker. But get yourself in the box and score goals and do what you're good at.
I think Jesse Marsh wanted to see that as well. We've just seen a replay of his reaction to David sending that chance straight at Vasil. Irate, doesn't really cover it.
Doesn't cover it.
The ball goes out of play for a Bosnia throw deep in their own territory. The Bosnian fans, we have to say, away to our right, are making a real noise. Some of them have got their tops off and they're whirling their white scarves around their heads. To be fair, the Canadians, the Voyagers, the Canadian ultras to their right, are making a noise as well, as Bosnia win another free kick, another throw I should say, midway through their half. It's goalless here, 18 minutes gone, as we see their manager for Bosnia, Sergej Barbarez, standing with his arms folded on the edge of his technical area. He was asked in the press conference yesterday on whether they enjoy being heartbreakers. They always seem to upset sides, Bosnia and Herzegovina, not least Italy in the playoff final. And his response to that, once I said, I love the game between David and Goliath, but the world gets to know you and see what you can do. Nobody is going to be taking Bosnia lightly in this tournament as Cornelius comes across, just about prevents a throw. It's good defending at the back by the Canadian centre-half. Eustachio, Canada captain on the day, will pick it up. And it's a lovely turn, shielding the ball there as Lariah plays it forward, and David was looking for Oluwaseyi, can't find it. Bosnia have a player down, referee happy to let play continue. Here goes Lariah, can't find Liam Miller of Hull City on the left-hand side, and Bosnia will get the foot in, and then Barakterovic is fouled. He's won the free kick, and Bosnia will have a set piece midway inside their half on the right-hand side. But just going back to Bosnia, David Edgar, I think that's the thing, you know, when you stop Italy getting to the World Cup again, nobody is going to take you lightly. No,
I don't think you can be taken lightly. They've shown that, and I think eventually as a team you want to be known something as more than the giant killers. And this is an opportunity for the Bosnian players to be put in the shop window in the biggest stage possible.
They are the lowest ranked team in the group, below Qatar, below Canada and below Switzerland. But they currently are goalless with the co-hosts. 20 minutes gone in the sunshine here in Toronto as Oluwaseyi tries to steer it again to Miller down the left-hand side, but it's well intercepted by Amar Dedic. And Bosnia will work it down the right-hand side. That's a lovely ball looking for Barakterovic. Strongly challenged by Lariah, the assistant on the near side. Raised his flag, then didn't seem like he knew what he was going to do with it. I think he's given the corner. Bosnia were wanting the free kick. Well, it looked as though he was going to whirl it around and say, referee, that was a foul. But let's see. No, it has been given as a corner. What do we think of that, David Edgar, as we see the replay?
I think the linesman definitely wanted to give the free kick, but it's a corner anyway. It took it out of his hands to make the easy decision.
Yeah, Lariah with the challenge on the lively 21-year-old Izmir Barakterovic. So Bosnia corner from this right-hand side. Swung into the 6-yard box, flicked across and in. The flick on at the near post goal line, and Canada are behind. It's Lukic who runs off celebrating for Bosnia, and Canada have conceded from a set piece. The co-hosts fall behind in Toronto, and are Bosnia and Herzegovina going to upset the odds once again? They did it to Wales, they did it to Italy, and they have drawn first blood against Canada here in Toronto.
Yeah, it's just not good enough defensively from Canada. It's an excellent ball in from Bosnia, and they get their just rewards. They said everything's going to come in the box, and this is what Canada's going to have to deal with. And they didn't mark the first post properly. Oluwaseyi loses his man, and 1-0 down at home here.
A first goal for Bosnia and Herzegovina for 27-year-old Jovo Lukic. His only cap before this World Cup was on his debut against the USA in December 2021. He's played a couple of times since being named in the squad in their pre-World Cup friendlies, but making his major tournament debut, his fourth cap overall for his country, he gets his first goal. He's been in great form in the Romanian top flight this season, 20 goals in 39 games. That is a moment he will never forget. That is a moment that Bosnia and Herzegovina will never forget. This is only the second World Cup in their history, their first since Brazil 2014, their second major tournament in their history. They've never even qualified for the Euros, as Demirovic is penalised and Canada have a free kick. But from a Canadian perspective, former Canada captain David Edgar, as we break for the mid-first half drinks break here of 3 minutes, and ironically this comes at the perfect time for Canada, because I was going to ask you, how do they respond? Well, now Jesse Marsh has the ability, without a goalkeeper needing to go down, which won't be allowed at this World Cup anyway, players coming over to the technical area, but he's got the ability now to reset. What does he do?
Now you've got the opportunity just to sit and dissect what's just happened, but I don't think Jesse's going to be overly critical. He's just going to want to move on from that and get on with the after this break and get on with the game.
So while we have the drinks break here in Toronto, let us head for an update from the cricket. Ellie Oldroyd.
Yes, we just started Sri Lanka's chase of what would be an astonishing target if they could get it. At 219 for 1, England scored their opening match of the T20 World Cup. Shadows are lengthening, the floodlights are on, and we've seen a magnificent century by Danny Wyatt-Hodge. 100 off 61 balls. Her former teammate Catherine Sivabrunt sitting alongside me. I mean, how good was that 100?
Oh, it was great. It was so nice to watch as well. It's like a welcome back to the cricket. And I'm just so pleased for her, because she'll be feeling so down about those two warm-up games. She'll be feeling a little bit uneasy, a little bit, oh, how am I going? How have I was batting well a minute ago. I've had these two no scores, and then I'm straight into the World Cup. How's it going to go? And that's how it went. So she couldn't feel any better.
Listen, it's all about doing it on the big stage, isn't it? Forget the warm-up games there in the past. Danny Wyatt-Hodge has absolutely laid down a marker, a century in the opening game of the T20 World Cup. 53 for Amy Jones and an unbeaten 46 from the captain Nat Sivabrunt as well. First over of Sri Lanka's reply. They need 220 to win.
Thank you very much, Ellie, and commentary is over on Sports Extra. Let's head for an update from the rugby. Sarah Orchards.
36 minutes played in the Prem semi-final. It is Northampton 21, Leicester Tigers 19. Just one missed conversion so far by Billy Sells separates the two sides. 3 tries apiece. This is an East Midlands derby that is absolutely delivering. We've still got 4 minutes to go until the half-time whistle. Northampton 21, Leicester 19.
Thank you, Sarah. Commentary over on Sports Extra 2. And to Queens for the tennis, Russell Fuller.
Where the world number 2, Elena Rybakina, has levelled her match with Britain's Katie Boulter at 1-all, going with serve in the decider. Rybakina leads 4-3, but Boulter is breakpoint down. Emma Raducanu's quarter-final, meanwhile, won't take place until tomorrow. She may have to win 2 matches in one day. At least she will, if she's going to be a finalist here at Queen's.
Thank you very much, Russell. So the drinks break is over. We are ready to get back underway. Here in Toronto, Bosnia and Herzegovina lead Canada by 1-0. And David Edgar, we see Jesse Marsh down there, just ahead of that Canadian technical area. He was looking very solemn as the players walk back out onto the pitch. This is a big moment now for Canada. It's a big moment to find a response.
Yeah, reaction's key here. The next 5 minutes and who gets the next chance. Jesse will be telling them that's what he wants, and all eyes were on him during the drinks break.
So Lariat for Canada, trying to snaffle possession away from Barakterovic. But the ball has gone out of play, and it will be a Bosnian throw right in front of Jesse Marsh. Anyone who followed him during his time in England while he was at Leeds will know that he gets very heated on the touchline. Has he brought that to the Canada national team as well, David?
No, for sure. There's been a lot of animated things happen on the touchline, and I think that translates to the players. They play with passion, they play with aggression, and Jesse matches that on the touchline.
Well, he has had a largely successful tenure as Canada boss so far. As we say, it was a disappointing Gold Cup when they went out in the quarterfinals on penalties to Guatemala last year, but semi-finals of the Copa America, where they lost to Argentina, was a huge achievement as they went a free kick over on the far side, led them to their highest ever world ranking back in September as well, of 26. But this now is about how Canada respond to pressure. They played that set piece too quickly, says our referee Facundo Teo of Argentina. Did find Alistair Johnston from Eustaquio. They will have to try something a little bit different now, Canada, because Bosnia are now switched on to the quick set piece. Hasn't been allowed anyway. And so Liam Miller will leave this for Eustaquio. It was a decent delivery, flicked across by Jonathan David. Kone can't latch onto it. Miller can, just outside the area. Nice control by David. Ball into that 6-yard box. It's cleared away by Bosnia. Back in by Celtic's Alistair Johnston. And then headed away by Sead Kolasinac, former Arsenal man, out of play for a Canada throw. But there's been a little bit of a clash of heads in the penalty area between two Bosnia players. So our referee, Facundo Teo, is just making sure that in particular Tarik Muharemovic is okay. But that was a little bit more like it, the initial touch from Jonathan David.
Yeah, the first two set pieces have gone on the ground short for Canada. It'd be interesting to see them whipping it in with a little bit better delivery and really test these giants of the defenders.
And they're trying to do just that again. Tajon Buchanan is appealing for the corner, and he's won it. And Sead Kolasinac, as the fans in the sunshine here in Toronto Stadium raise their voices once again, as Canada have a corner over on the far side, trailing Bosnia by 1-0, and looking to get this home World Cup up and running for them. Corner is swung in, comes to Liam Miller on the edge of the area. Nice ball finds Jonathan David. He plays it into bodies on the edge of the 6-yard box, and then Muharemovic, who made the initial block, comes out of the penalty area, fouls Jonathan David and gives away another Canadian free kick.
Yeah, it's a silly foul for Muharemovic. Jonathan David knew exactly what he was doing. Here's Canada just getting caught, taking another quick one.
Well, you can see the tactic. They found Tajon Buchanan. I think it's one of those you just suss out as a player on the pitch, don't you? The referee's not going to let us do that. This one isn't.
Maybe you should ask him. Ask if we're allowed to do it.
Well, very true. So, free kick to be taken from this wide left-hand side. The red shirts dotted in around the white ones, but they play it to the edge of the area. It's Kone. It's well blocked away by Bosnia. And then almost given away by Lariat, but Liam Miller does well, the whole wide man, to retrieve that situation for Canada and plays it back to Ismail Kone. Forward now to Alistair Johnston. Plays the ball into the area. It's cleared away by Bosnia, and they can break now with Tahirovic easing towards the halfway line, but brilliantly challenged by Jonathan David. I'll tell you what, that break has done him the world of good, whether it was Jesse Marsh or just himself, who revitalised that fire at the drinks break. He's been everywhere since players restarted, with Canada still trailing in this first half, as Miller, looking lively down the left once again, plays the ball to the edge of the D. It's cleared away by Bosnia and will be picked up by Demirovic. Now played by Ivan Basic off a red leg, and will go out of play for a Bosnian throw right beneath our commentary position, as Jesse Marsh stands in his dark suit with his arms folded, the first American to manage Canada's men's side. And as we touched on earlier, he almost got the USA job a couple of years ago. Actually, Renee done a deal with Leicester because he thought he was going to be appointed. But the US in the end didn't go for him, and speaking to some of the Canadian journalists yesterday, they were saying that really drives him. He still has this lingering sense of anger and hurt around what happened with US soccer as Canada have it on the halfway line.
Yeah, there's definitely bitterness there, and US soccer's loss is Canada soccer's gain. So we're excited to have him.
Canada play the ball to the edge of the area looking for Oliver Shea. Goes out of play for a Canada throw. It has been a good response after that drinks break. Bosnia scored just before it. Jovo Lukic with his first goal for his country on his 4th cap. Canada responding well as Liam Miller is challenged there, goes down, doesn't get the free kick but manages to steer it to Laraya, who just about keeps hold of it ahead of Barakterovic. Now Kone will swing the ball into the area, decent delivery. Bosnia not convincing with the clearance. Oliver Shea not convincing with the shot. Complete miss kick on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Bosnia clear all the way up to Canada's goalkeeper Maxim Krepo. He's looking nervous at the moment, Oliver Shea.
Yeah, he is. He's looking nervous, but he's getting himself in the positions. This is the thing with Tani. He gets himself, here he is.
Here he is in the area. And scoops it over the bar. Couldn't keep his composure, the Villarreal man. And is this about mentality for him at this moment, or is this just about bringing that clinical finishing to his game?
Well, I was never a big goal scorer, but I think in terms of the confidence strikers need, when you are on that run, those just seem to stroke past the goalkeeper. Right? And I think now you see him snatching at things and wafting at shots, and he just needs that one goal just to get his confidence up.
Canada in possession midway through their own half. Has scored 7 for Villarreal this season, and one of them is a stunning volley against Ajax. So he can hit them, he has the quality, but so far it's Jonathan David, the record goal scorer, who is just looking a little bit more composed. And I think as well the fact that Oliver Shea was the only change and he's starting ahead of Kyle Larin, you know, you get the sense he's desperate to impress and make his mark as Canada have it down the right hand side with Tejan Buchanan. That battle with Kolasinac is really hotting up. Buchanan did really well to hold on to it. It's then cleared away by Amon Mimic for Bosnia. Goes out of play for a Canada throw on the far side. It's still Canada 0, Bosnia and Herzegovina 1.
This is the exact reaction Jesse Marsh will be looking for since the drinks break and conceding right before.
Well, he's certainly got what he's asked for. It's Canada send the ball into the penalty area through Mr. Johnston. It's clear behind. It's another Canadian corner over on this far side. Let's see if they try and play it quickly and short again, and let's see if they'll ask the assistant this time if they can do that. So Stacchio places the ball on the quadrant. Jonathan Davids, Canada's record goal scorer, one of those now advancing towards Vasil inside the 6-yard box as Stacchio swings it in. Diffusion of Fulham was up there, the youngster, but couldn't get clean contact, and it will be brought away by Bosnia. And Amon Mimic countering down that left-hand side, but very good covering by Richie Laraya, who'd come over from left back, run all the way across to right back to cover as one of the men left back for Canada and stop that dangerous looking Bosnian counter.
Yeah, there's not many players on this pitch that are going to outpace Richie Laraya at the back there, so but Canada's going to have to be careful. They're losing the first contacts in both boxes and not quite marked up in the transition.
Cornelius will clear the ball away, and it is nodded crossfield by Katic for Bosnia, but then out of play. And again, it's Canada who are making the most of these opportunities to win possession back. Bosnia being a little bit sloppy, but Bosnia do have the goal through Jovo Lukic that sees them lead the co-hosts Canada here in Toronto by a 0-0 as the ball goes out of play for a Bosnian throw midway through their own half. Just going back to Laraya, he's a fascinating figure, isn't he? 31 years old, born in Toronto and Toronto's captain. So what a moment this is for her. And you were telling me earlier, Canada have had a few issues with discipline recently. They've had 3 red cards in the last 7 games. And you said to me in the press room here in Toronto before this game, if Laraya loses his head, they all lose their heads.
Yeah, I think Richie's a bit of an instigator in there. He said it. He picks a battle with his winger, and he takes it personal, and it shows out there. He's just got to keep that controlled aggression, and we keep all the players on the pitch. You've already got Alistair Johnson on the other side on a yellow card, so Canada needs to keep all the players on the pitch.
Former Nottingham Forest player as well. Handful of appearances for them, Richie Laraya. And he's easing towards the penalty area now as Cornelius has it. Goes left instead to Liam Miller of Hull. Now Cornelius will pick it up once more as the sun just breaks through the clouds here in Toronto. Patches of blue sky, swathes of them really, as we look up, do dispense a large amount of sunshine here in the stadium, but there is a bit of a breeze and the temperatures not too much of an issue, although it will be hotter down pitch side than where we are in our commentary position, as again Jonathan David gets a good foot in on Baraktarevic, who's looked lively down this right hand side, hasn't he? The 21-year-old plays for Dutch champions PSV Eindhoven, 7 goals for them this season, and another young talent that Bosnia have coming through.
Yeah, he's been excellent on the wing so far. As I say, it's going to be a difficult one for Richie Larea, but it's been a great start.
So out to the right hand side, go Canada once again. Here is Johnston, field to Eustachio. Lovely crossfield ball, looking for Miller as well. Cleared away by Dedic for Bosnia. Well one back by Kone for Canada, who's on the ball, the powerful central midfielder. Well hassled and harried by Bosnia's goal scorer Lukic. But Canada have worked it out to Liam Miller on this left-hand side, taking on Baraktarevic. He's done really well and then scoops the ball behind. Well, the referee's trying to decide what the decision is here. It did get a little deflection on the way through, so although the ball had gone behind by the time that Nikola Vasil caught it, it is judged as a corner because of that deflection. And Eustachio is over to this near side once again. Canada really piling on the pressure as they look to get back on level terms here against Bosnia and Herzegovina in their opening World Cup match. 8 minutes to go in the first half here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds as Eustachio swings the ball in. It was a great delivery. Oluwaseyi couldn't quite get his effort away. Jonathan David went for the overhead. He's appealing for a handball. It's been given as a corner and VAR will have a look. Well, I tell you what, they'll have a look, but Sead Kolasinac is fuming. He says it doesn't come off him. It does, so it's certainly a corner. I mean, his arm's by his side, Kolasinac, even if it has a little brush through. I don't think that's going to be a spot kick, but he was screaming that it shouldn't have been a corner, Kolasinac, and it certainly should have been.
It's definitely a corner. It's come off him, but I think any risk of a handball, just don't say anything as a defender.
Well, indeed. Don't get them to look at it again more closely. So corner in, looking for Oluwaseyi. He can't really make definitive contact, and it's cleared away by the outside of the right boot of Amar Dedic. But Kone is across quickly and will send it back to Maxim Crepo. Let's get an update from Queen's, Russell Fuller.
The applause has just died down for Britain's Katie Boulter, who's won the deciding set 6-4 against the world number 2 Elena Rybakina. The best win of her career by ranking. She's into the semi-finals at Queen's.
Canada in possession here in Toronto. Out to the right-hand side they go and find Tejan Buchanan, who's going to use that pace, and he's done brilliantly. Down to the byline he goes, and well blocked by Amir Memic, who'd gone all the way with him. But again, we're just seeing that blistering pace from Buchanan. Canada corner. Yeah,
Fantastic pace from Tejan. A little step over and wants to go down the wing on the right, on his comfortable right foot. But a great recovery from Memic. The Bosnians are defending excellent, his body on the line stuff, and you can see why they're giant killers.
Now to the right-hand side goes this corner. It was looking for Derek Cornelius. Cleared away by Bosnia, but here is Liam Miller. Plays it in, good delivery. Again, Bosnia make first contact. It's the goal scorer Lukic. There is such height in the Bosnian team, right from defence through to attack. But they're conceding another set piece, and they're applauding each other, the Bosnian players, because they know that they are really under the cosh here, but at the moment they're holding firm.
Yeah, there's something about winning ugly sometimes as a defender that you take pride in, and those clearances off the line, headers, you can see it's bread and butter for these defenders in Bosnia.
Eustachio this time for Canada will play it short to Tejan Buchanan. Eustachio now back to Kone, thought about shooting, tried to squeeze it through, looking for Jonathan David. Cleared away by Bosnia, headed on by Diffusion. Good clearance by the centre half, Mihremovic. Liam Miller just gets his blonde head to it for Canada. Then Araya will send it into the area, and Jonathan David just couldn't bring the ball under his spell with that red boot. Got the touch, but it bounced away from him and into the grateful arms of Nikola Vasil.
Yeah, Jonathan was proactive there, running behind. Richie just hooking things behind. The last 10 minutes has felt like the last 10 minutes of a game, being 1-0 down, just bombarding the box of Bosnia here.
Well, they certainly are being aggressive, Canada. They're being intense. It's a hallmark of their style under Jesse Marsh, as Barakterovic does well there. The 21-year-old scoops it back to Amar Dedic, and now Barakterovic once again, well chested away by Canada's captain on the day, Stefan Eustachio, and they've worked it nicely. Larea then, commentator's curse. Sorry, David. Just had a little miscontrol, but Diffusion-Roll, and Fulham has managed to ease away and win the free kick. So let's head back to the cricket and get an update from Ellie Oldroyd.
And Sri Lanka are 26 for 2, chasing 220 to beat England. England's biggest score ever in a T20 World Cup. 2 wickets to go. Garatne for 6, LBW to Lauren Bell. And a brilliant catch by Danny Wyatt-Hodge after her century to get rid of Chimari Atapatu, the captain, for 4. 226 for 2, Sri Lanka.
Thank you very much, Ellie. Commentary continues over on 5 Sports Extra. Here in Toronto, it is still Canada 0, Bosnia and Herzegovina 1. There's Cornelius, has the ball, and will play it out to the right-hand side, and Mr. Johnston, now Eustachio, beat away by Haremovic, and looking for the run of Memic, but Memic has committed the foul, and it will be a free kick to Canada over on the far side. Both sides, incidentally, have been tough to beat lately coming into this World Cup, both unbeaten in their last 8 games. But Canada, of course, playing with the additional pressure and the additional benefits, David Edgar, former Canada captain, of being a co-host and being here with home support as they have the ball in the centre circle. And I was amused when Jesse Marsh was asked yesterday, there was a rumour on social media that 30,000 Bosnian fans were going to come to this game. It was actually, the question was asked to Stefan Eustachio about that and, you know, what that would say, and he gave a very diplomatic Canadian answer, and Jesse Marsh interrupted, which is rare in a press conference as the ball goes out for a throw to Bosnia right in front of Jesse Marsh. It's rare for a manager to come in and add something. You normally get one question either to the player or the manager, and he said, I promise you it will be read. You could tell he was not impressed by that speculation on social media, and certainly not about being asked by it. And he's right, it is 90% red shirts in here, a red out as he called it, as Canada looked to win possession midway through the Bosnia half.
Yeah, he's got his red out, but it's a bit quiet now, just due to the conceding the goal. We just dropped the levels of noise. I want to hear the Canadians raise it.
And that's a nice ball by Tahirovic out to the left-hand side, and Memic, well covered by Celtic's Alistair Johnston. But a high five and a pat on the head for captain on the day, Sarah Kolasinac. Edin Dzeko on the bench for Bosnia, the record appearance maker, their captain, the record goal scorer. We'll get a little bit of history if he comes on. We've become the second oldest outfield player to ever play at a men's World Cup. But given the struggles he's had with this shoulder injury, he hasn't started since they beat Italy on penalties in the playoff final at the end of March. I don't think we'll see him today if Bosnia do win, as the very ambitious volley comes in from the edge of the penalty area. Benjamin Tahirovic, the 23-year-olds. Well, that would have been very, very special indeed had that one gone in, but it sailed into that mix of blue-shirted Bosnian and red-shirted Canadian fans in front of the goal away to our right. And now Canada have a free kick. It's Derek Cornelius who's been caught late, and his goalkeeper Maxim Crepo is out quickly to check on him, as is the Bosnian opponent Nebadin Demirovic. And he, despite his show of compassion, is not going to escape a yellow card. So Demirovic brought Bosnia into the book.
Yeah, he tried all he could to not get booked there, but I think, listen, Demirovic he's a big boy, he's strong, he's powerful, he's been pressing straight from the start here, and if the defenders aren't quick with moving the ball, they're going to lose it and they're going to get tackled like that.
Just seeing the replay, it looked a tad harsh, I have to say. It was more of a blocking off, wasn't it? And whether that was worthy of a yellow, you consider the position on the pitch as well. Of course, if a foul is bad, it's a yellow card, but there was no sort of positional benefits or extra sanction in that regard. And I think he can feel a little bit hard done by there, Demirovic, but he is into the book. Of course, at the World Cup, one of the changes will be that VAR can look at wrongly awarded second yellow cards, but they wouldn't be looking at first ones. So we'll have to play a game on a booking as Larea does well there, shepherds the ball out of play from the lively Barakterovic, and it will be a Canadian goal kick. Still, Canada 0, Bosnia and Herzegovina 1. this opening World Cup match for both teams as we enter the added time at the end of this first half. 4 minutes, David Edgar.
Yeah, fantastic switch of play from Muharerovic. But as I said before, nobody's beaten Richie Larea for pace there. He just cruises, put into his second gear and just guides it out for a goal kick.
Here is Demirovic, good strength to send it out to the left-hand side, and Lukic, the goal scorer, getting his first goal for Bosnia. That is why they lead Canada by a goal to nil, and they've worked it nicely. It's Tahirovic, plays the ball straight to the feet of the Canada captain, Stefan Eustachio, and then Buchanan was looking to counter. He was caught, and that is going to be a yellow card out, and the goal scorer, Joro Lukic, is into the book.
It's a different type of football these defenders of Canada are going to have to deal with. The Canadian team hasn't played against that many European opponents, and it's a stronger, difficult type of game where against the South American teams, the CONCACAF teams, it's a little bit more intricate, link-up play, combination play, whereas this is more direct and physical, combative style that Bosnia is trying to play here.
So Canada in possession, sent out to the left-hand side, looking for the run of Liam Miller. Nice little back-keeled clearance by Ivan Basic. And Basic then with a nutmeg on Miller. That's a beautiful passage of play just from Basic inside 10 seconds there. Lovely control, and then nutmegs the whole City winger as Bosnia build down the left-hand side. They are really playing with confidence, Bosnia. That ball had a little bit too much on it, but a thumbs up for the effort from Omar Memic, and Canada will build from the back once more. But you can see that Bosnia are doing exactly what their manager Sergei Barbaresi stands in his black suit and white trainers right on the edge of that dotted technical area. You can see what they're bringing. We're going to show our courage. That's who we are, and it's going to drive us. And they certainly are standing up well here against Canada as Tajon Buchanan comes down the right-hand side. Another little ricochet, and it bounces off the corner flag, and that's what the groans are for inside the Toronto Stadium, because it will be a Canada throw rather than a Canada corner.
Yeah, I think, as you say, there's 3 yellows here for Bosnia, and it's almost a bit of a bullying right now that they're trying to do to Canada. As I said, bigger bodies. Can Canada deal with it? Are we being a bit too soft here?
Well, they're going to try and take advantage of this long throw, but again, it's Bosnia who make first contact, held back into the area. So when the ball's on the ground, Bosnia look like they're struggling to clear. And this time, the shot is driven hard by Alistair Johnston, blocks away on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Eustachio will have another chance with another corner for Canada over on the far side. David Edgar.
I think Bosnia's had as many blocks as Canada's had corners now. It's body on the line stuff, as I said, and a real pride in their defending.
Can they hold firm? Can Canada level? Corner is swung in, and it's nodded over by the towering figure of Derek Cornelius, the centre half, up from the back. Well, they have had openings in this first half, Canada, but in terms of the team that's looked more dangerous in the passage of play, often it has been Bosnia.
Yeah, I think obviously Canada's had the chances with Jonathan David and Oluwaseyi, but in terms of legitimate chances here, Bosnia's had the better of it, I think, with Canada having the possession.
And they look so dangerous down the wings, Bosnia, and they will be absolutely delighted with that first half as the whistle goes, and some of the Bosnian players, including the defender Tarik Muharerovic, are complaining to the referee because they felt actually that attacking phase was still ongoing. But no, whistle goes. A very good half for Bosnia. They lead the lowest ranked side in the group by a goal to nil against the co-host Canada in Toronto. And Canada, who have lost every single one of the 6 previous World Cup games that they've played so far, have work to do in the second half. David Edgar, your assessment of that first half?
Yeah, there's work to do, but this is what Bosnia is happy with. They're okay with this. They've got an early lead from a set piece, and they're okay. They're comfortable defending their box. They're comfortable in a low block, and they can counter and hurt you in attack. And they've got players to bring on as well. So Bosnia is definitely the happier of the two. Canada, I think Jesse Marsh will have some things to say at halftime. Just in terms of effort and energy right now, and physicality, I would say the most, because don't let this opportunity pass you by. 45 minutes is gone, you're halfway there, but this is an opportunity in Canada that we've been talking about for a long, long time, so you got 45 minutes to make it right.
Can they take that opportunity in the second half? We will find out. Half-time in Toronto. Canada 0, Bosnia and Herzegovina 1.
Vicky, thank you very much. We'll be back with Vicky Sparks and David Edgar for the second half of that game. We're joined now by former Bosnia goalkeeper Asmir Begovic. Asmir, what have you made of that first half, especially given what we heard David saying about Bosnia being very comfortable to play the game this way? Get an early goal from early-ish goal from a set piece, and then just nice and steady.
Yeah, I think Bosnia will be very comfortable. I think exactly as we predicted. Bosnia all throughout qualifying and even in the playoffs, very happy to play without the ball, be very compact, be very organized, threaten in transition. And as we said before the game, the key was set plays. That's their major strength. Sergei Barbaras loves playing with a big center forward, the two big center halves. So there's going to be so many threats for other teams to deal with and having to defend those set plays. So I think the game is going very much the way we expected. Bosnia quite happy to soak up the pressure and to continue to do so. I think what Canada has to do is to find another gear, speed up their play a little bit. I think they were good to start with, good energy, but I think if you let Bosnia settle that low block, it becomes very, very difficult. So they have to move the ball quick, less touches, try and get Bosnia out of position and break them down, as soon as they can.
Yeah, Canada creating chances, but as you say, not quite got that cutting edge at the moment, and Bosnia lead Canada by 1-0 at half-time. We're going to hear from Mauricio Pochettino very shortly ahead of the USA's opening game against Paraguay. First, though, we've got the BBC News with Mark Summers.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The voice of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
4 Palestine Action activists have been jailed for between 4 years and 8 months and 7 years and 8 months. It's after they caused more than £1 million worth of damage at the UK site of an Israeli-based defence company in August 2024. It's believed to be the first time convictions for criminal damage have been classified as being connected to terrorism. Keir Starmer has insisted that defence is his number one priority. It's after the Armed Forces Minister and the Defence Secretary resigned yesterday. Speaking to the BBC, Sir Keir said that he had to make hard-edged decisions to reach the aim of spending 3% of GDP on defence by the end of the next Parliament.
If you look at the steps along the way, what you should see is these are important steps to get us where we need to be on 3% and then the 3.5% in 2035. And, some people will talk about how they're going to do it. I am evidencing how I am doing it.
1 million young people are to be offered a vaccination against meningitis B. It follows an outbreak in Kent in March in which a student and a sixth former died and 2 further clusters in Dorset and Berkshire. Megan Draper had only been studying at Bournemouth University for 5 weeks when she died from Men B last October. Her dad Lee wants a vaccine made available on the NHS.
Megan had had a meningitis vaccine whilst at school. And what we found out afterwards was that vaccine only covered against ACWY, 4 other strains. We were completely unaware about MenB, but also we were completely unaware that there was actually a vaccine for MenB.
Elon Musk has become the world's first trillionaire after shares in SpaceX started trading on the New York Stock Exchange. The company's been valued at $2 trillion. And David Hockney, one of the most influential artists of the modern era and a leader in the 1960s pop art movement, has died at the age of 88. The Tate Britain Gallery said Hockney had a unique vision of the world.
Throughout the World Cup, 5 Live Breakfast is coming to you live from the USA.
This is huge for the United States. We have the World Cup here, biggest sporting event in the world.
I don't need to buy diamonds, but my wife is 7 months pregnant, so I'm negotiating my own terms.
Go now. Let's bring it home, US, baby.
The rest of the world is not ready to see what USA has in store. So yeah, they're in for a treat now.
5 Live Breakfast.
Ask your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio 5 Live.
This is 5 Live Sport.
At the FIFA World Cup 2026.
With Kelly Cates.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Hello, welcome back to 5 Live Sport on this World Cup Friday. We've got second half commentary of Canada against Bosnia and Herzegovina coming up shortly. We'll also pay tribute to Kenny Jackett, who's died at the age of 64. Before we do that, though, we're going to get updates from the cricket at Edgbaston, where the Women's T20 World Cup started tonight. England are in action. Eleanor Oldroyd.
Yes, and England started absolutely brilliantly. Fantastic batting display from Danny Wyatt-Hodge particularly, who scored 100 off 61 balls, her first century in a T20 World Cup. England's highest score, and in fact the highest score ever by a team in the T20 World Cup. 219 for 1, 53 for Amy Jones as well, and Nat Sivabrunt unbeaten on 46 at the end. And Sri Lanka, in reply, well, they are really up against it. They're 47 for 3. At latest wicket to go, Amisha Dulani, who was caught at square leg by Freya Kemp off the bowling of Lindsay Smith. So no Sri Lankan batter has managed to... Actually, no, I tell a lie. Harshita has just reached double figures with a couple of fours, but it has very much been England's night so far on this beautiful sunlit evening in Birmingham with the floodlights on and the Cricket World Cup getting underway in front of a happy home crowd. 48 for 3, Sri Lanka, chasing 220 to win, and they're already in the 7th over.
Ellie, thank you very much. You can listen to commentary of that on Sports Extra. At Queen's, Britain's Katie Boulter is through to the semi-finals. She's beaten the world to Elena Rybakina in 3 sets. And Katie Boulter spoke on court after her win.
That was absolutely incredible. I just tried to tell myself to just keep backing myself and go for it. And if you don't go for it, then you're going to regret the things that, you've worked so hard for. And I'm standing here a winner, and it's because I trusted my game. I trusted my coaching team, who were always with me and pushing me. So, yeah, I'm so proud of today. Thank you so much again. The noise and the atmosphere was amazing to play in.
Russell Fuller was watching that win for Katie Boulter at Queen's. Russ, is there an argument that that's the biggest win of her career?
Certainly in terms of ranking, she'd never beaten a top 4 player before, Kelly, and this was the world number 2, Elena Rybakina, on a surface that she loves in front of her home crowd, and certainly one of the best performances I've ever seen her put in. 2 hours and 39 minutes it took, and she won the final 2 games of the match with bold and aggressive tennis to take that deciding set 6-4. And it's also 2 wins in a day for Boulter, who now plays Croatia's Donna Vekic, a Wimbledon semi-finalist a couple of years ago, in the last 4 tomorrow. And Emma Raducanu is also hoping to feature in a semi-final tomorrow. It would be against the American teenager Iva Jovic, but first she will have to win the quarter-final there was no time for today, and that match is against Kamila Rakimova of Uzbekistan, and that's likely to open the schedule tomorrow at lunchtime.
Thank you, Russell. Let's head to Franklin's Gardens and the Prem semi-finals. Sarah Orchard is watching Northampton against Leicester, and they're into the second half there. It's been a good game so far, Sarah.
Oh, incredible Prem semi-finals so far. 9 tries we've had, Kelly. Northampton 33, Leicester 26, 51 minutes played. In the second half, George Furbank went over for a nice little pass down the far side. He dotted down on the occasion of what is his final appearance here at the Gardens for him. Goes to Harlequins next season. But it's Leicester who bit back through Orlando Bailey. But they're the ones with the work to do. At the moment, it is Northampton's game. They lead 33 points to 26.
And there's commentary of that on Sports Extra 2. Reaction and build up to the second semi-final, which is Bath against Exeter Chiefs, is on 5 Live tomorrow. Watford legend and former Wales international Kenny Jackett has died at the age of 64. Jackett was a one-club player. He played 428 times for his hometown side. He also won 31 caps for Wales before he retired at 28 because of knee injury. He later managed Watford and led Swansea City, Millwall and Wolves to promotion, as well as winning the EFL trophy with Portsmouth. Adrian Forbes played under Jackett at Swansea and Millwall and joins us now. Adrian, it's really sad news, and it's someone who was, although he was a one-player man, was so respected throughout football. What do you think that was down to? Hello, Adrian. It's Kelly. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly now, Adrian. I was just asking you about the respect in which Kenny Jackett was held throughout football.
Yeah, he's a remarkable man and a remarkable human first and foremost. And I think that human style of coaching certainly came through from my point of view as a player and the players that he worked with. And I think the person-first mentality, which is talked about so much in the game nowadays, is certainly something that Kenny did really well. And I think that's no surprise that so many of the teams he went to, whether it be Millwall, Swansea, Wolverhampton, Portsmouth, those players were successful and those teams were successful under his stewardship.
Does he influence the way that you coach now?
Yeah, I think 100%. It's not just myself. If you look at the Swansea team that had Gary Monk in there, Roberto Martinez in there, Sam Ricketts, all people that have gone on to become good coaches and good managers within their own right. I'm sure we'll all agree we took a lot from what Kenny did with his structure of training, how he coached each individual player within a team structure, and how he developed us all, not just as players, but as men and as respective coaches. So 100% a lot of what Kenny taught me, I've taken through to my coaching days. I think it's clear I'm never going to replicate or have the same success that he did, but I will certainly now even more so take some of the learning from what he taught me technically and tactically into the rest of my coaching journey.
You did have some huge moments with him as well, one particularly at the Vetch. Tell me about that one.
There were some incredibly memorable moments with Kenny, and obviously you mentioned the Vetchfield there, the very last game there when I managed to score against a certain Joe Hart that's gone on to have an exceptional career. But just being part of that setup with Kenny at that point in time, and not a lot of people will know that my games previous to that, I don't think I performed very well, but I can remember Kenny saying to me, "I'm going to stick by you. I need my big players on the day." He stuck by me when arguably, he should have dropped me, but he didn't, and I'll never forget him for that. And then ultimately culminating in the week later where I scored a goal after I think 10 seconds to get Swansea promoted from League Two to League One. And I think it's no surprise that man, his leadership, his abilities, his skills of identifying a player, developing a player, and developing teams led to the amazing start that Swansea City went on. I think a lot of credit can go to Kenny.
And it'll also go down as the last ever goal at the Vetchfield as well. Just tell me a little bit more about that ability. As you say, he said he was going to stick with you and give you that confidence. Was he a man manager, or was he more of a tactical coach, or did he have the balance between the two?
I think he had the balance. If you look at that story in isolation, where I knew myself I wasn't performing very well, and I was also mindful that it was the very last game at the Vetch, and I knew the significance of that game, and any player would want to be involved in a game, I say, of that magnitude. And I was looking over my shoulder thinking, he's got every right in this situation and scenario to not play me. But his man management nature of pulling me to one side and letting me know, I'm going to stick by you. I'm aware that your last couple of performances haven't been at the level that we require or the level that you know yourself you should be at, but I need you in this game and I need you to perform. And all of a sudden I go into the game with that boost of confidence, that belief in my ability and belief in myself again, and knowing that I've got this man, my boss, my gaffer that's stuck by me. So I think it was a mix of the two. You're not going to be able to perform and win trophies like Kenny did and win promotions like he did with just being a man manager. He had the ability to have a good mix of the two. But equally, you also knew he was your boss and you didn't want to mess with him as well.
Yeah, it's a perfect balance to have. Adrian, thank you so much for joining us to talk about him.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Adrian Forbes there, reacting to the news that his former manager, Kenny Jackett, has died at the age of 64. The World Cup, as we know, is underway. It is day 2, and we saw that Mexico got off to a winning start last night. Canada, at the moment, are trailing Bosnia by 1-0 at half-time. Not long to go until the second half gets underway. Asmir Begovic is with us throughout the evening. Asmir, as you said, Bosnia will be very comfortable with how that first half went, but there were signs towards the end that Canada were able to create a little bit more. Do they just need to be wary potentially of that threat, particularly if those chances fall to Jonathan David? He just needs to put one of them away.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Canada are well in the game, and I think they've done a lot of good things. I just think the most important thing for them is to, when they get in these final third situations, just have a quicker combinations, quicker play. Otherwise, there are going to be so many bodies in the way from Bosnian defenders that they won't be able to kind of get to that final product. So I think for them, just pick up the pace, keep doing the right things, and hopefully they find a breakthrough.
And the whistle has gone for the start of the second half. With you for that one, David Edgar and Vicky Sparks.
Thank you, Kelly. And Demirovic of Bosnia has had an early chance inside the opening 15 seconds, right-hand side of the penalty area, but driving a low shot straight into the arms of Maxim Crepo. No changes for either side at the break, so we will take you through the full lineups in a moment. But David Edgar, former Canada captain, if you had been in that dressing room at half-time as Canada win a free kick playing from left to right in the second half, third of the way through the Bosnian half, what would you have said to your teammates?
Yeah, this is the Canadian in me, definitely. But I would say there's a lot of people here who've paid a lot of money, and a lot of people in Canada that have put a lot of effort into putting this World Cup on. So I would say leave everything out there for 45 minutes. Make the country proud.
There you go. There is the team talk for Canada for this second half here on 5 Live. And BBC Sounds as the ball is over the top from Bosnia. And again, Crepo all in bright blue will collect for Canada. He is in goal. The back four of Johnston, of Celtic, De Fougerolles of Fulham, Cornelius and Larrea. Ahead of them, Buchanan, Eustachio taking the armband with Alphonso Davies, who is on the bench, but it isn't going to be available for this one. Amongst the subs, Kone and Miller in the midfield, with Jonathan David, their record goalscorer, and Tani Oluwaseyi up front as Canada win a throw deep in Bosnian territory. It's Johnston who plays it forward. Nice layoff by Eustachio, looking for Oluwaseyi. Down to the byline he goes. Oh, beautiful turn. That's gorgeous from Oluwaseyi. And a big hand from Vasil. Keeps it out of that 6-yard box. It was trickling across the goal rather than into it, I think, from Oluwaseyi, but Vasil, all in bright yellow, the Bosnia number 1, stuck out a big white glove and made sure that it didn't fall to a red shirt. Goes out of play for a Canada throw, taken quickly, cleared away by Bosnia. Canada really trying to put their best foot forward in these early stages of this second half, trailing Bosnia by a goal to nil as De Fougerolles plays it forward. Nice layoff by Oluwaseyi. Eustachio was bundled over there, but our referee from Argentina, Facundo Teo, says no foul. Straight out of play from Nikola Vasil. Well, we spoke in the first half, David Edgar, about the fact that Oluwaseyi looked a little bit nervous. No nerves so far as Buchanan again fizzes the ball in. Bring David in a moment, but Canada have really started the second half so brightly. Now he can bring him in because that Bosnia attack comes to nothing, and Larrea has picked it up midway through the Canada half. But Oluwaseyi looks like a different player in the opening exchanges of this second half.
Yeah, much better start from Tani. He's holding the ball up, combining, and again making these runs in behind.
Oh, and Vasil there has come out, collided with Oluwaseyi. Vasil's down, referee stopped play, ball has gone out of play. Vasil looks like he could be injured here. Well, it was inside the penalty area. Who made the initial contact with who? Vasil came flying out, the Bosnian goalkeeper. Oluwaseyi still down, he's sitting up, and now he's saying, well, hang on a minute, maybe that's a penalty. Could I have a spot kick here for Canada? At the moment, the referee hasn't given any decision other than the ball going out of play, and the Bosnian goalkeeper, Nikola Vasil, going down inside the area as he came out. We've not seen a replay yet. I wonder whether they want to make sure that Vasil is okay. He is just arching his neck up and now being pulled up to a sitting position. So now we're going to see a replay. Let's see. Could this possibly be looked at VAR? Well, first they're going to have to decide if Oluwaseyi was offside, and I think he might have just gone early. What do we think, David Edgar, with that initial coming together, if we think about offside in a different phase of play?
I think Kolasinac actually keeps Oluwaseyi on side, and at first look I thought possibly a penalty, but you take your reaction off the players. None of the Canada players put their arms up, claimed for a penalty. Neither did Tani. So I think that tells you everything you need to know. And looking at the replay here, it's not. But a great bit of skill before that from Tani. You just want to see a striker, whether it's Jonathan David or someone, get across that first post and get yourself a goal.
Yeah, having seen the replay, it's really good defending and goalkeeping from Nikola Vasil, the Bosnian number 1. He comes out, he gets a big two-fist to the ball first, and then he does catch Oluwaseyi on the follow through, but I think the contact on the ball is so strong, and as you say, no real appeals from Canada, but they're coming forward again. This is a bright start to the second half. It's Liam Miller looking for Oluwaseyi just ahead of him, and Vasil is out again. Both players up to their feet, play continuing as both recover from that collision. And Bosnia and Herzegovina still leading by a goal to nil here in the sunshine in Toronto, but it's Canada who have started this second half very brightly indeed, as Canada win a free kick in the centre circle, playing in all red from left to right. Bosnia and Herzegovina in the white kit with the dark blue sleeves. And as we say, no changes at half-time. So Bosnia have Vasil in goal, the back four of Dedic, Katic, Muharemovic and Kolasinac, the former Arsenal man, Barakterovic, Basic, Tahirovic and Memic in midfield, with Demirovic and the goalscorer Lukic whose goal gives Bosnia and Herzegovina this slender lead up top. As good defending by Dedic over on that far side. Clears the ball out of play, but this is relentless pressure at the moment from Canada, David Edgar.
Yeah, it's the way they play. It's good play from Liam Miller on the left-hand side there before coming inside and driving inside against Dedic. He's not getting much joy on the outside with him, but he uses the inside. Just that final pass for Jonathan David wasn't good enough.
And here he is again, Liam Miller, the man from Hull City. Steers it back to Eustachio, captain on the day. And now Derek Cornelius, ball into the area. It's well claimed by Nikola Vasil.
I'd like to see Canada get the ball to the byline and look for cutbacks. I don't think this crossing from deep areas is going to work against these centre halves and these, as I said, these land of the giants.
Good ball forward by Buchanan, gets the deflection off Sead Kolasinac. And Buchanan will take the throw there, taking the restart so quickly, Canada. They want to get things moving, a little bit too eager there, and Kolasinac uses all of his considerable experience and shepherds the ball behind for a Bosnian goal kick. It's Bosnia who still lead by a 0-0. 7 minutes have flown by in this second half.
Yeah, it's relentless pressure from Canada, but again, the Bosnians don't look flustered, they don't look nervous, they're composed. They're strong in the tackle, and I think they've been here before. They've been in this sort of position before in games, so they'll be comfortable.
And they're in possession inside their own penalty area as their manager, Sergei Barbarez, watches on. Ball forward cleared away by Derek Cornelius, and then Eustachio will win a free kick for Canada, and again they take it quickly. That is the hallmark, and again the referee blows his whistle. To be fair to Facundo Teo of Argentina, I do think the ball was moving there, so Canada have to build again from the halfway line. Here is Ismail Kone, forward to Larrea, lays it off to Liam Miller down the left hand side in the sunshine, down to the byline, then we'll pull it back. Kone, Eustachio, oh this is lovely play, and it's cleared off the line by Kolasinac via the bar. What an opportunity for Canada to find the equaliser. Then they stop the counter-attack. It's going to be a yellow card into the bargain. But what a wonderful chance that was for Canada, and what wonderful defending by Sead Kolasinac. It was Larrea getting forward. He must have thought for all the world that he'd scored. Past the goalkeeper, heading into the goal, and Kolasinac, the former Arsenal man, clears it almost on the goal line, up on the underside of the bar, and bounces away to safety. So close for Canada, David Edgar.
I don't know how it's not gone in. It's much better from Canada, better combination play. They've done everything right. Richie Larrea's done everything right. Slides it past the keeper, and again I don't know how it's not gone in.
Unbelievable defending from Kolasinac, and now Bosnia and Herzegovina could be in here. What an opportunity, and very, very good goalkeeping from Maxime Crepeau to deny Ermedin Demirovic. Well, it's all happening here in Toronto from one end to the other, and that was superb goalkeeping.
No, this has sparked the crowd into life. That's why Maxime Crepeau has got the number one. He's got the gloves here. What a save for the 1v1, but Canada's going to have to look at the two centre halves getting stretched there, one losing the header.
So, corner kick to Bosnia and Herzegovina, and it's their manager's turn to have his head in his hands, Sergei Barbarez, as they prepare to take this corner kick. It's swung to the far post, and Canada just about do enough. Crepeau got something on it, and now they're looking to counter. Bosnia still lead by a 0-0, but I'll tell you what, we've got lift off in this second half in terms of the tempo as Bosnia make the interception and steer it all the way back to their goalkeeper Vasil. Canada pick it up again, out to the right hand side, and Liam Miller, who's over on the right this time, his cross though is poor and goes straight out of play. And for the first time in this second half, 10 minutes in, I think we can have a bit of a breather, David Edgar.
Yeah, it's been exciting. Both teams getting at it. Again, the Bosnians, a lot of defending to do. Canada being relentless in the pressure, but it's a good game, turned into a transitional game, but it's exciting.
So, Bosnia preparing to take this goal kick out to the left-hand side. It's flicked on by Amar Memic. And Canada will come down the right once again. Jonathan David, little deflection from the sliding Nikola Katic, who does a big double fist pump as that deflection carries straight into the arms of his goalkeeper, Nikola Vasil. I tell you what, that is one of those, David Edgar, that could have gone anywhere, but fortunately for Bosnia, it goes into the arms of Vasil.
Again, Canada doesn't seem to be getting any bounces, anything going their way, so hopefully we get the rub of the green here coming up in the next 30 minutes or so, but they're creating the chances, they're getting in the dangerous areas. We just need that final touch.
Well, it is a final touch from Sead Kolasinac that has kept it at 1-0 Bosnia. I mean, it is an unbelievable clearance. And now, there we go. One of the new rules that is in place for this FIFA World Cup we've just seen happen. Took too long over the throw, Bosnia, and so the throw has been given to Canada.
Love to see that.
So, they steer it back to their goalkeeper, Maxim Krepo, who steers it straight out of play in the sunshine over on the far side. And after that frenetic start to the second half, things have just slowed down a little bit. Bosnia and Herzegovina still leading here in Toronto by 1-0. As Canada steer the ball in field, Eustachio, and he was caught there. No, he's committed the foul in the view of our referee, Facundo Teo, and it's going to be a free kick to Bosnia, a third of the way inside the Canadian half as Jesse Marsh watches on.
Yeah, I don't think Stefan knew much about that. It was accidental, but again, another set piece Canada will have to deal with. You know it's coming into the box. Just as Canada looks to make that first sub here.
Yes, it's going to be Promise David who's coming on. Another who's had injury woes this season as Bosnia and Herzegovina spray the free kick back into the box at the second attempt. And it's been a nervy couple of moments for Maxim Krepo, the Canada goalkeeper. He did get there, but he punched away and it spun behind. And it is going to be a Bosnia corner over on the far side. Not overly convincing there from Krepo, but we shall see how he deals with this. So Bosnia send it into the 6-yard box. Oh, what a chance that was for Tarik Muharemovic. He rose high, the tall centre half, and nods the header over the bar. Let's head for an update from the rugby. Sarah Orchard.
Here in the Prem semi-final, Northampton 33, Leicester 26. Still an incredible arm wrestle between two sides. It's 5 tries for the Saints, 4 for Leicester, but we've still got 15 minutes to play. Northampton 33, Leicester 26.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Commentary continues on Sports Extra 2. So, it's going to be a triple change for Canada. But they don't have time to take it yet because they keep restarting play very quickly. Here's Eustachio out to the left-hand side and Lorea. Canada still trailing by 1-0. They have seen an effort cleared by Sead Kolasinac, the former Arsenal man, off the line onto the bar from Lorea at the other end. Krepo has saved very well from Demirovic. It's Canada coming forward now with Eustachio out to the left-hand side. He goes, and now Kone will pick it up 30 yards out, left-hand side of the penalty area, plays it out to the left once more, and Liam Miller in the sunshine. The red shirts are flooding forward. Miller loses it, then wins it back. But Bosnia are defending well out to the right-hand side, and Barak Tarovic, and he will win the throw for Bosnia over on the far side, and they're going to make a double change as well. So we're going to have 5 players coming on. But talk to us about these Canadian substitutions. We've got Schaffelberg, we've got Ali Ahmed, and we've got Promise David. What are they going to bring to this Canadian side?
Yeah, you've got 3 players that are coming back from injury as well. So it's, I think Jesse's seen enough of, I'm guessing both wingers here, and probably Tania Oluwaseyi, and wants to make the changes. But I think Promise David's raw. He's athletic, he's strong, and he's got goals in him for sure. Ali Ahmed is playing at Norwich, his football at Norwich City. He's extremely tricky and good on the ball. And then you've got Jacob Schaffelberg, who's going to come on and just run up and down that wing. relentlessly as Jesse Marsh wants.
Okay, so here come these changes. So Liam Miller of Hull is off and Schaffelberg is on. That is the first change for Canada. Tajon Buchanan is going to be replaced by Ali Ahmed, who, as David Edgar says, plays his football at Norwich City. And Promise David replaces, no relation, Jonathan David. Promise David, who wrote when he was playing in Estonia in his locker, 2026 as an inspiration. He almost missed this tournament. He's really been struggling, as you say, with injuries, a hip injury. Almost didn't make the squad, but he is on now. So, changes for Bosnia. Their goal scorer, Jovo Lukic, is off. He is replaced by Samir Bajdar. And Armin Gigovic is also on. And he has replaced Ivan Basic. So, how will this affect this second half? A half in which Canada have started with real intent and purpose as they look to gain their first ever point at a World Cup. They've lost all 6 previous matches. This is only their 3rd World Cup. And it's Bosnia and Herzegovina who still lead by a 0-0 here in Toronto, just over an hour gone. And they too have had one big chance in this second half. Demirovic drawing a big save from Crepeau.
It's an interesting one from Jesse Marsh. I wasn't expecting Jonathan David to come off, but I can see why he's done it, and probably going a bit more direct into Promise David and have Tani play off of him. I just really want to stretch this Bosnian backline now.
Canada with the long throw, trying to make a bit of headway on that left-hand side. Promise David, who's just come on, making a nuisance of himself. He does get the shot away, but Bosnia have 2 players down. The whistle's gone. And Promise David is not happy here. He's going to speak to the referee. It's one of the Bosnian substitutes who's gone down, Gigovic. Whistle's gone. It is a free kick to Bosnia, but just talk us through the play here from Promise David Edgar, and what he's bringing in terms of physicality to this Canadian front line.
I said he was raw and powerful. It's exactly what we've seen there with Promise David. He's a big boy. He's been out for a couple months, and he's essentially come back from an injury that he had no business coming back from. He said he's a bit of a superhuman in terms of the way he recovers, so looking forward to seeing him and hopefully getting the score sheet for Canada here.
It's Canada in possession. Kone just winning that ball back. And here is Ola Shea looking for the run of Ali Ahmed. He's done really well down that right-hand side, finds Ola Shea, well blocked away by Tahirovic, who celebrates that as though he's scored. It's got out of play for a Canada throw, but they are, again, giving everything, Bosnia and Herzegovina. They put their bodies on the line. We saw them do it against Wales. We saw them do it against Italy, as Ali Ahmed tricked his way into the area. Little slip by Eustachio, Promise David. Oh, he was having his shirt tugged there. Got the shot away. No real protest from him, but you can see what a handful he is for this Bosnian back line, and that is what Canada have not been able to do so far against a very strong Bosnian defensive unit.
No, he's back to goal. He's excellent and he's powerful. He's always in the right position in terms of he just wants to score goals. He just wants to be in and around the box, and he's going to try and sniff them out. But yeah, you can see the subs come on already. Everything's quickened up. Corners, throw-ins, everything's a little bit more livelier, and I think this is the reaction Jesse wanted, making the substitutions.
And they are getting a reaction from the Canadian fans all around us. As you can hear, it's a sea of red. So many fans standing up in the stands in the sunshine here in Toronto, including in these temporary stands to our left. They're so high, they're uncovered, so the fans are in the sunshine. And I was hearing as well from fans that have been at test events, when it gets windy, apparently these stands feel like they're waving a little bit. Luckily, there's not too much wind here today in Toronto. We're approaching 4:30 local time as Canada work it down the left-hand side once again. Here is Eustachio, goes for goal on the edge of the penalty area, and it sails a few yards wide of that far post, and it remains Canada 0, Bosnia 1, approaching the midway point of the second half. David Edgar.
So I was saying before, I want us to look to get to the byline and have some cutbacks, but now is an opportunity to actually deliver some crosses. You've got Promise David, who's going to put his head on anything and challenge for everything in there. So now is an opportunity to get some crosses in from the right and the left side.
Bosnia in possession with Tahirovic. They've given it away, and here is Oliver Shea, but he can't find Eustachio. Schaffelberg coming across and trying to retain possession for Canada, but can't do so. And Bosnia look for the run of their substitute striker, Samed Bajdar, the former Serbia international, but now plying his trade for Bosnia and Herzegovina. But it's Canada now down that left-hand side, and Schaffelberg's done really well to keep it in. Swings the early delivery into the area. Oliver Shea's there, and it's off the line again. The header was trickling towards goal, but Bosnia were well positioned and they clear. It wasn't as spectacular as Kolasinac clearance that came off the bar, but it's still a goal line clearance as Canada win a free kick. And again, Canada, David Edgar, so close to an equaliser.
It's almost like I know what I'm talking about, Vicky. You just get the ball and cross it. But yeah, it's that's what we have to do now. Get the ball down the line, get crosses in the box, and really challenge these Bosnian defenders to make mistakes. They've been excellent so far. Bodies on the line, but still time to play here.
Here goes Ali Ahmed, the Norwich wide man, plays it forward. Eustachio controls, just about keeps it in. Schaffelberg's there. Ali Ahmed back across, but it's over the head of Derek Cornelius, the centre half, who's stayed up, and he's not going to keep that in. And it goes out of play for a Bosnian throw. But you talk about the impact that the substitutes are making, and Ali Ahmed very much one of those. 25 years old, 4 goals for Norwich this season. He was actually born in Toronto, and a few years ago Ali Ahmed was enduring unsuccessful trials in non-league football in England for the likes of Enfield Town, Tooting and Mitcham United, you know, 8th tier sides in England, and now he's playing at a World Cup on home soil for Canada in his home city. But it's Bosnia coming forward down the right hand side, looking to add to their goal advantage here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, but well blocked away by Laraya on the edge of the area. He wants a free kick. It's not going to happen. Kolasinac sprays the ball back in, and Bosnia with the header can only find the arms of Crepo. He will send it forwards, and here goes Eustachio out to the right hand side, picked up by Ali Ahmed. Swept forward but cleared away by Mihailovic, and then Canada win the free kick. Oliver Shea going down. Do you think, as Canada prepare to take this set piece midway through the Bosnian half, do you think that Jesse Marshall or somebody has spoken to Oliver Shea at half-time and said, look, just enjoy this? Because he feels like in the second half to the first half, in terms of the pressure that it felt like he was playing under in the first half, it feels like, again, he's a different player in the second period.
Yeah, the shackles are off, as they say, right? He's playing with a bit more freedom, and maybe that's exactly what he did say.
Ali Ahmed's ball into the area. Bosnia make first contact. Kolasinac is going to prevent that ball going out of play for a corner, and then goes down. And that is huge experience again from sides Kolasinac, the former Arsenal man, as the referee blows the whistle for the 3-minute drinks break. But David Edgar, former Canada captain, this has been much more like it from Canada in the second half.
Much better, much more in the front foot, much more in their face, and much more energy from the subs coming on and making an impact. You just get the feeling that if Canada is to go on and get one, this stadium could really elevate them and see what happens in the final 15-20 minutes here.
But Bosnia know how to make upsets. After their win against Wales in the playoff semi-finals, their manager Sergei Barbara said, we know how long we have been, Bosnia and Herzegovina, in a negative spiral in football, but we can be the ones to break the ice. They knocked out Italy on penalties in the playoff finals to get here, and they are leading Canada with a quarter of the match to play. Let's get an update from the rugby. Sarah Orchard.
74 minutes played. That means in 5.5 minutes, Northampton Saints could be on their way to the Allianz Stadium to play in the Prem final. They won the title back in 2024. They've got the ball. They lead here 40 points to 31. It's just a matter of whether the Leicester Tigers can get another score quickly to get back in the game. But as the ball comes away towards the near side, it looks like the Saints are going to be heading to Twickenham. 74 minutes on the clock as the Tigers touch down through far back again. They're going to be going to Twickenham. Northampton 45, Tigers 31.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Commentary continues over on Sports Extra 2 to the cricket. Ellie Oldroyd.
Absolute demolition job from England on Sri Lanka in this opening game of the World Cup. 98 for 8 Sri Lanka now, chasing 220 to win after England posted a record 219 for 1 with a century from Danny Wyatt-Hodge, 100 off 61 balls. And Alex Hartley, this has been a dominant bowling performance as well. 3 and 4 balls from Freya Kemp in her last over.
Yeah, England have been exceptional. Freya Kemp in particular, she's on 4 for already. Her next ball's actually a hat-trick ball. Whether or not she'll be on at the next over, they're just having a drinks break. We will find out. But yeah, it's been a brilliant start to the World Cup for England. It couldn't have gone any better. Obviously scoring above 200 sets the stall out. Danny Wyatt-Hodge absolutely exceptional in that first innings. And sort of Sivabrunt's 46 off 22 goes under the radar because Danny Wyatt-Hodge was so good, and then the veteran takes a specky catch as well in the second innings, and England are just 2 wickets away from a very dominant win here.
It's so comfortable for England that he even managed to drop some catches as well, and it hasn't mattered that much. 14,865 here at Edgbaston on a Friday evening, first night of the Cricket World Cup. Sri Lanka 99 for 8 after 14 overs, chasing 220 to win.
Thank you very much, Ellie, as we are ready to get underway, and the sprinklers just popped up during that 3-minute break, soaked a few of the players as well as the pitch, and now they've popped back down. About 10 black sprinklers dotted around the stadium here in Toronto, but now we're back underway. So Canada have a quarter of this game still to go. They've got a quarter of this game to get their first point or points in a World Cup. 6 games, 6 defeats. Are they heading for defeat again? Are they going to become only the second host nation after Qatar to lose their opening game at a World Cup? Bosnia and Herzegovina lead by a 0 as they clear the ball away, out of play for a Canadian throw over on the far side. Canada, who have suffered just 1 defeat in their last 11 games. They lost to Australia back in October, but this is their first competitive game in nearly a year. They've not played competitively since going out in the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup because, of course, they automatically qualified for this World Cup as co-hosts. So they're having to step it up. It's a World Cup, it's competitive, and so far, despite a promising second half, they still trail by a 0 here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds in their World Cup opener as Bosnia and Herzegovina clear forward once again, looking for Bajdar, their striker, who's come off the bench, and he will get onto it now with those yellow boots on the halfway line, then goes down, draws the foul off Ismail Kone, and interesting here, Oliver Shea has gone straight over to Ismail Kone and stopped him getting any closer to the referee. And David Edgar, was that necessary?
No, I think it was a silly foul to give away. But yeah, it's again another reaction from the Canadian team here after the drinks break. You can see Jesse Marsh very animated in that.
Because this is huge for Canada. It is an open group. There are sides. Of course, 8 of the third place teams go through, so there are second chances, there are sometimes third chances, but still opening with defeat would mean very much that they've got work to do in this group with Switzerland and Qatar to come for both of these sides. So double change here for Bosnia and Herzegovina. First player on is Ivan Sunjic. He replaces Barakterovic, who's had a very good game, the 21-year-old. And watch out for this man, Kerim Alaibegovic, 18 years of age. He is a real talent. He started on the bench and he has come on for Amal Memic. But he is, billed by many as the new poster boy of Bosnian football. The man who has been, the poster man, I think I should say, given that he's 40 years old, Edin Dzeko, their captain, their record appearance maker, their record goal scorer. Staying on the bench for now after not starting since the end of March because of a shoulder injury. Alaibegovic, really exciting talent, and he often does come off the bench for Bosnia and Herzegovina, and he makes a real difference when he does so, invariably. So let's see what he can do here, and let's see if Bosnia are once again going to break the hearts of a side that are ranked higher than them, upsetting the odds as they love to do as underdogs, as Gigovic does well, wins the ball over on that far side, and Bosnia will build from the back once again, leading by a 0 15 minutes plus added time to play here in Toronto. Stihlevic steers it back once more to Sunic. But all Bosnia need to do is just keep possession at the moment, just frustrate Canada, and Alajbegovic does exactly that, the 18-year-old, as they walk the ball out to this right-hand side once again. And here is Bajdar, their striker. Good hold-up play, good challenge by Derek Cornelius, but it will be picked up once more by Sunic. And then a little loose touch from Kolasinac, but he did get the touch off Ali Ahmed, and the ball will go out of play for a Bosnia throw. And Kyle Larin is about to come on for Canada and getting instructions from Jesse Marsh. And he was so animated in that team talk, wasn't he, Jesse Marsh, in that drinks break. So Larin is on, Oliver Shea is off, and just talk us through Jesse Marsh's thinking behind this, former Canada captain David Edgar.
Well, Kyle Larin's a proven goal scorer, someone I played with. He scored goals everywhere he's been. So I'm thinking Jesse's just brought him on to see if we can get that goal. But you can see Canada struggling a little bit to get out now with that flat two up top. Jonathan David, with him dropping into that 10, was able to be that release valve for Canada. They can win the ball and go and turn and attack. But now there's a lot more second balls being picked up from that Bosnian midfield, and they're gaining a little bit more control in this last 15-20.
Well, Ryan Reynolds in attendance here today got a big cheer when he went up on the big screen at the drinks break in the second half. There's Ali Ahmed, lovely ball into the penalty area just in front of Kyle Larin, but what a gorgeous ball from Ali Ahmed with the outside of that right boot. He is playing with such confidence since coming off the bench for Canada as they look to find this equaliser against Bosnia and Herzegovina, as Alajbegovic can't keep that in right in front of his manager Sergei Barbares, who knows all about holding his nerve and playing the odds. He's a keen poker player, Sergei Barbares, former Bosnia and Herzegovina captain, cult figure as a player, never played himself at a major tournament, but when he retired, he indulged his other love, poker, and made the final of the World Series a couple of times. So he's certainly got experience of weighing up the odds, knowing when to stick or twist, although that's not quite poker, is it?
Yeah. No, I love that. I love stories like that.
But Bosnia aren't going to change the way they're playing. They know it's worked. It worked against Wales. It worked against Italy. They had to fight back in both of those games, but they also had to be solid. And having got ahead in this game here in Toronto against Canada, that's what they've been. Canada have seen efforts cleared off the line twice, once by the bar by Kolasinac. And they're coming forward again. Driving towards the penalty area. It's Kone. Nice layoff by Promise David. Larry!
Yes!
1-1! Listen to Toronto! Canada level against Bosnia and Herzegovina. And it's Kyle Larin off the bench to do the damage. The second ever goal scorer for Canada at a World Cup. And he gets them level in their opening game, 1-1.
Unbelievable. Listen to that noise here. I never thought I'd hear anything like that in my home country, but what a turn from Kyle Larin. That's what he does. He was brought on for that. You asked me before. He's a fox in the box, a little touch, turn, snatch, and a little deflection. He gets lucky in the end, but he knows where the goal is and makes the keeper work. Canada's got the rewards. Can they go on now and use this?
And as a former Canada captain, David Edgar, you are allowed to shout yes when that goes in.
I tried to keep it quiet, but I'm just looking around here. It's emotional, seeing all the red. It's good. So happy for someone like Kyle Larin, who I had the opportunity to play with as he was just breaking into the national team about 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Well, he is their second highest goal scorer in their history. And he is now, as we said, the second ever Canadian player to score at a World Cup, because overall they have scored 3 goals, but one of them is an own goal. So it's Alphonso Davies and Kyle Larin. And what a huge goal that is. Look, it's only the opener, but listen to the noise here in Toronto Stadium. This is the sort of momentum that Jesse Marsh wants to build throughout this World Cup with Canada, and losing the opener, that in and of itself would have done damage, not just in terms of no points, but in terms of how much this wider nation, which loves ice hockey over soccer, how much they buy into this tournament. And this is the feel-good factor they want, and they're coming forward again. It's promised, David. Deflection. Did it get a deflection? No, it's been given as a goal kick. But all of a sudden there is new life in Canada.
Yeah, it sparked to life. Again, you said what this means to Canada, and not losing this game hopefully will bring this amount of people, this amount of Canadians to every game Canada plays, and make it pro-Canadian and change the game forever in Canada. So it's a massive last 10 minutes here.
So Bosnia and Herzegovina have the goal kick. Out to the right-hand side it goes as the shade now creeps over half of the pitch here in Toronto. But the energy is up from these Canadian fans and these Canadian players. They fought back to 1-1. Can they go on and win it? Or will Bosnia and Herzegovina again turn round the odds? Sergei Barbares, arms folded, watches on. They're the lowest ranked side in the group. Yes, they beat Italy on penalties to get here. But a point against the co-hosts in Toronto would certainly not be the worst beginning to their second ever World Cup campaign. Canada, though, are looking for victory. It's steered all the way back to the Bosnia goalkeeper Vasil. Straight out of play it goes. 8 minutes plus added time to play. In fact, no, it was kept in on that far side. The fans were already cheering because it looped so high in the air, but it was kept in. Canada have a player down. It's promised David, but Bosnia are attacking down this left-hand side. Johnston of Celtic gets there and will clear away up towards halfway. Larin, Canada's goal scorer, got a little push in the back, but will receive the ball almost back. But in the end, it's shepherded out of play by Nikola Vasil, and Ser Kalashinac has a problem here. Canada were bursting down the right-hand side, and Kalashinac was trying to keep pace with Kyle Larin and was hobbling. He was hobbling so badly. Fortunately for him, the ball had too much on it and went behind, but he is now sitting down. And this will be a blow for Bosnia and Herzegovina, the former Arsenal man, and it's clear he was in real trouble there.
Yeah, you can tell he's in pain there. He wasn't moving right at all, chasing back to the ball, but this is what Canada needs to do now. Spin the defenders, get the pressure, get them facing their own goal, and really put that pressure on Bosnia now.
So Kolasinac is gingerly being helped up to his feet. We do have one more substitution that they can make, Bosnia, as do Canada. And I think they may well be going to make it. Let's see. I mean, Kolasinac is one of those players. Anyone who saw him play in England while he was at Arsenal will know he's a real fighter, and he won't want to come off unless it's absolutely necessary, but it is absolutely necessary, and he is wise enough to know when his race is run. And for today it is, and Jenis Burnic is going to replace him. So Kolasinac off, Jenis Burnic on, placing the Germans second tier for Karlsruhe, and on to try and help Bosnia just stem the red wave of attacks at the moment from Canada. As the ball goes out of play, good play by Alai Begovic. We've not really had a chance to see what the 18-year-olds can do so far, have we, David Edgar, since coming off the bench for Bosnia?
No, he's had a few good touches, he's tidy, but I want to see him get on the ball and really attack Alistair Johnston here, who's been booked, and put him under pressure.
Oh, that might put Canada under pressure. A bit of a miscue clearance from Kone and Bajdars into the area. He was well marshalled by Laraya, but it's going to be a Bosnian corner over on the far side. And you can just sense the change of atmosphere around the stadium, and I can sense the slight change in body language from you, David Edgar, former Canada captain.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen here. It's like I said, there was a spell in the first half where it felt like it was the last 10 minutes now, so something Canada probably going to have to deal with. Longer balls and set pieces again.
Corner in from the right-hand side from Alai Begovic. It will fall to Burnett. She completely miscued 25 yards out. Scoop towards the penalty area. Out to the right-hand side. He goes. But it can't be retained by Bosnia. And Schaffelberg, though, can't complete the counter. Good interception over on the far side, and it goes out of play for a Canada throw. And we've got 5 minutes plus added time to play in this World Cup opener. Canada won, Bosnia and Herzegovina won.
I think the subs have made a huge difference for Canada. The 2 wingers coming on have been proactive in going forward, pressing, and really running at their defenders and their fullbacks. So I think it was a good tactical substitution from Jesse Marsh to pull the trigger on that one. And obviously the Kyle Larin one's paid off.
It was a wonderful finish, beautiful control, beautiful turn and finish. As the attendance is announced here, 43,002. Now that's around 2,000 shy of FIFA's official attendance. The official attendance is tricky because sometimes, you know, the media tribune takes up more space. So, but I think we can say it's pretty near a sellout. There are a few empty seats dotted around it, and again, it's that question of ticket prices, as the Canadian media friends were telling us yesterday, and as so many fans have had to wrestle with just how much are you willing to pay to see your nation at a World Cup, just how much are you able to pay to see your nation at a World Cup. But for those fans who have managed to make it here, whatever sacrifices they've had to do so, they have seen their Canadian side fight back. They've got a throw over on the far side as the sea of Bosnian fans, that little pocket to our right, tries to urge their team on, and it's a good header away by Katic out of the penalty area, but Canada will come again down the left-hand side, ball into the area, cleared away once more by Katic, and Bosnia will look to counter. This is where Canada have to be careful as the ball is fired forward to Demirovic, and he could be in behind here. Larea has to be really strong, and does really well. Holds him up on the edge of the penalty area, and Bosnia are forced back, and that is outstanding defending by Larea.
Yeah, didn't quite win the foot race this time, but he got back and was able to usher Demirovic backwards. That's all you have to do as a defender.
Promise David now holds it up on the halfway line for Canada. A good strength, he's up against Katic, and then Sunic comes over and commits the foul, and that will be a free kick to Canada just inside the Canadian half. And again, listen to the fans inside Toronto Stadium raising their voices, sitting on the western shore of Lake Ontario. This is Canada's largest city, over 3 million. There's around 45,000 in here. I'm sure many more are watching on at home. And they believe.
Jesse Marsh asked Canada to show up. They've done that. Can they show up loud here for the last 5 minutes and urge Canada to must bring that ball into the back of the net here?
They're heading for their first World Cup point in their history. Could it be a first World Cup victory? Cleared away. Eustachio's ball wasn't quite good enough, and Bosnia do get the distance on it up towards the halfway line. Kone then goes down, and he does win the free kick. Demirovic committing the foul. 90 seconds plus added time to play. If you're Jesse Marsh, David Edgar, former Canada skipper, with us here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, are you absolutely going for this?
100%. I don't think he knows any other way than to not go for it. I think that's what the message was at the water break. It was a galvanizing message. It wasn't a tactical message. It was this is what we brought Jesse Marsh in for, someone of his stature, and it's paid its reward so far. So hopefully we can go on and get that winner now.
Alai Begovic for Bosnia plays it in field, a couple of ricochets, but it will fall to Tahirovic. Canada win it back though with Eustachio. And now Ali Ahmed, who goes down. I think the whistle actually had already gone for the earlier foul on Eustachio. Canada free kick just inside the Bosnia half.
Yeah, some tired legs out there now, some late tackles. I think the heat's taken its toll a little bit on the especially the central midfielders. It looks like Canada's too have got a little bit more energy.
Yes, approaching 5 o'clock local time here in Toronto. It's been mid-20s this afternoon. The pitch is sliced in half almost perfectly. Left-hand side shade, right-hand side sunshine, the way that Bosnia are attacking, but it's Canada with this set piece. It's Eustachio, plays the ball into the area, and that's a good take by Vasil, but really Eustachio made it too easy for him.
Yeah, he's got to keep that away from the keeper. It's just floated up, it's got snow on it, and it's bread and butter for goalkeepers to come and get that, especially one of this caliber.
So 6 minutes of added time at the end of this game. The opener for Canada and Bosnia and Herzegovina in Toronto, 1-1. Kyle Larin with the equaliser in this second half for Canada. But Bosnia are defending well, but also they are looking to get the ball forward wherever possible. And they do so now to their striker, Bajdar, down the left-hand side, blocked away by Defugirol, 20 years of age, born in England actually, qualifies through his dad, the Fulham player. Canada's Young Player of the Year 2025, and Canada have the throw deep in their own territory.
Yeah, Bosnia aren't sitting off and happy for a draw. They know this is an opportunity for them to start the group off with 3 points. They were in the lead. Now they're not just going to sit back and take a draw here.
So here is Canada's final change. Eustachio has gone off, and what a moment this is for Jonathan Osorio, Toronto captain. He spent his entire professional career with them, born in Toronto, and 34 years of age today. What a birthday present.
Oh, it's incredible. I didn't know it was his birthday. Happy birthday, Oso. But yeah, what a guy, what a player. He's been involved for so long now. Captain of Toronto FC. And I think this makes him, or he's definitely third overall in the caps for Canada now.
Now, controversy here because Promise David was away down the right-hand side for Canada. Bosnia have 2 players down. One of them is Mehremovic. The other one is Ali Begovic. So let's have a look at what's going to happen here. The first player to go down was Ali Begovic, just outside the penalty area. Then it was Promise David, which was really, I mean, that was more of an NFL challenge, wasn't it, on Mehremovic. So it is a free kick to Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I think, let's just see where they're going to take it from. I think it's been given for the second challenge, yes. So not the one just outside the penalty area, but the one nearer the halfway line. But again, we're saying that Bosnia, when they have the opportunity, they are trying to attack. They're not settling for a draw. They are trying to defend well enough that they get it, but they now have sent a lot of white shirts forward. They're about 10 yards or so outside the Canadian penalty area. Now they go forward as the free kick is sprayed to the right-hand side. It's a nervy clearance inside the Canada box. Bosnia trying to keep it alive. Mehremovic, the centre-half, is still up there. Canada will bring it away. And now Mehremovic is out of position. The Canadian counter is prevented. And that is going to be a yellow card for Nikola Katic. And again, I think we saw Alistair Johnston do one for Canada in the first half. Katic has just very correctly, from a cynical point of view, taken one for the team there.
No, I think that's exactly what you call a professional foul. I knew exactly what was going to happen. Take the booking for your team and stop Canada go from transitioning on the attack, which is playing into their strengths.
For Canada, they rather waste that opportunity. They've tried to play the quick free kicks all day. That time the referee, Facundo Teo of Argentina, let them do it, and they just send it straight out of play.
Yeah,
a little frustrating.
Waste of an opportunity. It is frustrating. You see the frustration on the bench from Jesse Marsh and the staff here, becoming more and more animated as the time ticks on.
So 3 minutes of added time to play. Canada have fought back in this game to level, but still, although it would be their first ever World Cup point, would it feel like a missed opportunity against the Bosnia and Herzegovina side, who are the lowest ranked side in the group, but we know the damage they can do. Besting Wales and Italy to make only their second World Cup in their history, and their first since 2014. Only Dzeko and Kolasinac have had a taste of a major tournament before. They've never got to the Euros either, so for so many of these players, it is their major tournament debut. As Osorio, the Toronto captain, comes forward out to the right-hand side. Lovely ball to Ali Ahmed of Norwich. Early delivery, and Basil does really well. Comes to the edge of his 6-yard box, that bright yellow figure, and claims. And it's still 1-1.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want as a defender behind you. A goalkeeper you know is going to come out for that and command his box, and especially in the last couple of minutes, gives you the confidence to leave it for him.
And as the crowd just lull a little, one last deep breath before the plunge, because Canada are in position. We've got a minute of added time to play. They're midway inside the Bosnia half. It's Ali Ahmed of Norwich to Luc de Fougerolles of Fulham. Now in field to Derek Cornelius. Can Canada, heading for their first ever World Cup point, find their first ever World Cup winner? Bosnia have everybody back, but the red shirts still come. Osorio out to the left-hand side. Johnston looking for the run of Larea. He'll reach it down by the byline. It's Larea, pulls it across. It's Larry, brilliant block, and Canada can't get the second attempt away as Kone came in, and Bosnia and Herzegovina again survived with some heroic last-ditch defending.
It's unbelievable defending again from Bosnia. Canada gets into a great position with Richie. Kyle gets it over his feet, but he couldn't just quite get a touch on it to finish it. But again, bodies coming from everywhere from Bosnia.
20 seconds to go. Canada still in possession. Out to the right-hand side. It's Ali Ahmed. It's 1-1 here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds as Johnston plays it forward. Ali Ahmed had gone down. The referee from Argentina, Facundo Teo, waves his finger, and that may just be that. And indeed, it is. It is history for Canada. They have their first ever point at a Men's World Cup. They have fought back here against Bosnia and Herzegovina, but they have missed the opportunity to start this historic occasion, this first World Cup on home soil, with a victory. It ends a point apiece, a goal apiece. Canada won, Bosnia and Herzegovina won. David Edgar.
Yeah, I think probably the right result over the course of the 90 minutes. I think there's a feeling, you can tell it even amongst the fans here, the reaction, probably a missed opportunity for Canada. But over the course of the game, you're going down 1-0, it's showing the fight to get back and get back into it, subs making an impact. It's a positive sign moving forward to the next group game against Qatar, which, again, Canada will be expecting to get 3 points in that one.
And in terms of Bosnia, I mean, we've mentioned throughout the commentary on 5 Live, we know what we can do. They love being the underdogs. They love being the heartbreakers. Again, such an impressive performance from them as the lowest ranked side in the group who had to navigate the playoffs against Wales and Italy. And they've shown, as we knew, they're not to be taken lightly.
No, absolutely not. They defended better than any team I've seen in a long time in terms of just outright willingness to not concede. Canada threw everything with the kitchen sink at them, and they dealt with it. Obviously, they got the rewards through a deflection goal in the end, but both teams defended quite well. I think Bosnia overall were much better on the defensive side.
And just finally, David, do you think this game, this performance, this result is going to spark the imagination of Canada when it comes to this World Cup?
It's a start, 100% it's a start. It's 3 points and a performance a little bit better than this probably would have got the ball rolling for everyone because of the build-up and the pressure that we brought into it. But listen, coming away with a point, your first point, we've made history again. This group's made history again, so they'll be confident going to the second game.
So Qatar up next in Vancouver for Canada. Bosnia and Herzegovina are off to LA where they will face Switzerland. It finishes here in Toronto as Canada, the co-host, get their World Cup campaign off and underway. Canada won, Bosnia and Herzegovina won.
Vicky, thank you very much. Vicky Sparks and David Edgar in Toronto for us. David, there was a really lovely moment with that Canada equaliser where you could hear the emotion in your voice. Just tell us what it means to you as a former captain.
Yeah, listen, I had 2 goals in my life. One of them was to play for Newcastle United and the other one was to represent Canada. And I got to achieve that. And watching this group of players and doing this in our home country is something none of us ever thought would be possible. So thank you to everyone involved, and thank you to this group for making it a special time, and thank you to Vicky for not getting mad at me for shouting when we scored.
But that's the thing. That's the whole point of the World Cup. It's not a time when people have to be neutral because you are the nationality that you are. And for Canadian football, it's a first ever point at a World Cup. And I take your point that you were making to Vicky at the end that maybe in the cold light of day, Canada might think this was a missed opportunity, but it is still progress for the country.
Yeah, it's huge progress. Look where we're at. Obviously qualifying for 2022 and that being a disappointment, it shows where the program's come since I've been playing and being involved. So again, it is a positive. We made history. This group's continuously knocking off things on a list of history makers. So it is disappointing but only because of the pressure that we put on ourselves, I think, as a nation, because of the success we've had over the last 2 years.
And former Bosnia goalkeeper Asmir Begovic also joins us this evening. Asmir, we'll talk about what that means for Bosnia, having taken the lead and then coming away with a point from that game. But just first of all, on the achievement for Canada, where you played under-20 football. Asmir, we're just going to wait and get your mic faded up, and then we're going to get an answer for you. It's not. I don't think it's your settings. Try again. Let's see if we've got it sorted now.
Yeah, it would help if I was unmuted, right? Anyway.
Oh yeah.
So no, I think it's great for Canada. Great achievement. They've been to their third World Cup now, and to get their first ever points, great. Absolutely, I think it's a building block. It's a really good starting point as well as this. As far as this tournament is concerned, never easy with the expectation of this sort of opening game at home. Everything that comes with that and having to deal with the expectation. So not an easy game. I think Canada did obviously more than enough to get a point. Could have possibly won it. Wouldn't have been too much against the run of play if they did win the game. But, I think they'll take the point. I think they'll take the performance. It's a really good start, something to build on, and you take it into the next games.
And you said at half-time this was exactly the Bosnia performance that you expected. It was very tight, and they were trying to sort of catch Canada on the counter. But some of that defending, particularly towards the end of the game, was phenomenal.
No, Kelly, it really is the story of the Bosnian team over the last couple of years. It's what given them their success, this collectiveness, this fighting for each other. Putting their bodies on the line. That's exactly where they've been comfortable. So the game was very, very predictable in that sense, and very quickly into the game, it kind of played out that way. And Bosnia only needed a couple of chances. Those set plays were always going to be key, and that's where they're incredibly strong. And obviously they made the most of that. But I think in terms of their defending, their camaraderie, their togetherness, again, also I think it's a good point for Bosnia. Not easy to come into this sort of an environment. The sea of red in Toronto, everyone back in Canada. To get a point, I think, again, is a good start. It's like we said earlier, I think it's important to start the tournament with something. You lose this game, you're immediately on the back foot. So I think for them as well, it's a positive result and something to build on.
Asmir is going to stay with us till 10:30. David is also with us, as is Vicky, and we'll get their reflections on that 1-1 draw between Canada and Bosnia between now and 10:30. In the meantime, we're going to head off to Edgbaston. The Women's T20 World Cup underway for England this evening, and underway successfully. Eleanor Oldroyd.
Yes, underway with an emphatic victory by 87 runs. They've beaten Sri Lanka, bowling Sri Lanka out for 132. England 219 for 1 in their innings. It was never really realistic that Sri Lanka were going to get anywhere near it. Freya Kemp took 4 for 21, including 3 and 4 balls. Sophie Ecclestone and Charlie Dean, and Charlie Dean, 2 each. But it was all about Danny Wyatt-Hodge. 105 for her. 61 she reached her 100 in. Amy Jones got a 53 as well, and Nat Sciver-Brunt looking in good form with the bat. That is a good sign for England. She was not out, 46 at the close, and also a sensational catch to tell you about as well from Wyatt-Hodge to dismiss the Sri Lankan captain Chimari Atipatu. Once she had gone, really Sri Lanka had no chance of chasing down the runs. So England on their way, first game of the Cricket World Cup, and they have won by 87 runs.
Ellie, thank you very much. In the Prem Rugby semi-final, Northampton beat East Midlands rivals Leicester 45-31. But who will join them? Full commentary of Bath against Exeter is on 5 Live Sport from 3 tomorrow. We'll get more reaction from Toronto. We will hear from Mauricio Pochettino ahead of the USA's game against Paraguay later on this evening. And we'll hear from Andy Robertson as Scotland gets set to face Haiti in their opener in the early hours of Saturday night going into Sunday morning. We'll hear from him shortly after the news with Mark Summers.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The voice of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
There are growing signs that an agreement to end the US-Iran war is close. A senior official in Washington has told journalists that the White House is now around 85% confident that a deal could be signed within the next few days. Sir Keir Starmer has defended his handling of military spending following the resignations of the Defence Secretary and the Armed Forces Minister. The Prime Minister's told the BBC he's taking hard-edged decisions with government department budgets and promised the delayed Defence Investment Plan would be published within the next 4 weeks. Elon Musk has become the world's first trillionaire after his company SpaceX debuted on the Nasdaq stock market in New York. Shares jumped more than 25% over their initial offer price, valuing the rocket, satellite and AI firm at more than $2 trillion. And the artist David Hockney has died at the age of 88. Paying tribute, Dame Tracy Emin said Hockney was a wonderful man whose art changed the perception of Britishness.
Throughout the World Cup, 5 Live Breakfast is coming to you live from the USA.
This is huge for the United States. We have the World Cup here, biggest sporting event in the world.
I don't need to buy diamonds, but my wife is 7 months pregnant, so I'm negotiating my own terms.
Go now. Let's bring it home, US, baby.
The rest of the world is not ready to see what USA has in store. So yeah, they're in for a treat now.
5 Live Breakfast.
Ask your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio 5 Live.
The FIFA World Cup 2026
with Kelly Cates
on 5 Live Sport.
5 Live Sport is with you until 10:30 after the World Cup co-hosts Canada earned their first ever point at a World Cup finals with a 1-1 draw against Bosnia and Herzegovina. Former Canada international David Edgar is with Vicky Sparks in Toronto. Former Bosnia goalkeeper Asmir Begovic is with us as well. And there's lots to review from that game. We'll also look ahead to the USA against Paraguay, which takes place in the early hours of the morning, and Scotland's first World Cup game since 1998. David, let's come to you first then. And we talked a little bit before the news about the meaning of this first point for Canada, the significance of it. Talk to me now about how important the substitutions that Jesse Marsch made were in earning Canada that point.
Yeah, I think they came at the right time. I think Miller and Tejan Buchanan, they had okay games, but they weren't really quite doing what Jesse wants them to do in the attacking sense. And I think the subs came on and brought massive amounts of energy. And then obviously the Kyle Larin one is a proven goal scorer for the national team and club level and comes on and does what he does best.
And it's also about doing it at that World Cup level on that stage. When you go into the stadium, you're the co-host, you've got the eyes of the country on you, potentially the eyes of the world on you. And you've got all that pressure. To be able to make those decisions under that pressure and to make the right decisions is what's been critical in this game.
Yeah, he said in his interview prior to the game that he loves being the idiot in the bench. Well, everyone thinks he's an idiot, but he wasn't today, and he made the right decisions. Again, he's got a good staff around him who help him make those decisions. I think prior to the game, they know if it's going one way or another, what they'll look to do. But quite similar players who have come on, and Canada's got those weapons that we didn't seem to have in the past now that can go and hurt teams and come from a goal down.
When we saw him giving that talk to the team on the pitch post-match, he gathered everybody together and had some words for all of them. Knowing him the way that you do, having been a part of that coaching setup for a couple of games, what kind of message do you think he will have been delivering at that stage?
It would have been inspirational, 100%. Listen, like I said before, he was brought in for this reason. Someone like his stature for these moments, these big moments, and changing the course of Canadian soccer. And he's really bought into it, and being an adopted Canadian. And he loves this group. He loves the players, and he really does truly care about them. And I'm sure that would have been the messaging. But it would have also been about look around and look what it means to the people of Canada who have shown up for you in this game.
Asmir, we talked about the difficulty of Canada and for Jesse Marsch trying to make those decisions in that atmosphere, but also for Bosnia to go up against the hosts in the first game of this tournament. As you mentioned before the game, it is a very young squad, and if they had potentially lost that game, as Canada had some late chances, if they'd lost that game, it could really have damaged them. But holding on for a point, will that give them some confidence?
I think it'll give them a lot of confidence, actually, because this wasn't an easy environment to play in. You see the sea of red, all the Canadian fans. They're pulling a lot of pressure on the Bosnian team. So I think they'll take a lot of confidence from this. I think it is really important to score that first goal because it gave Bosnia that little boost and something to hang on to. I think as the game went on, Canada were always going to be more of a favorite. I think they had better strength and depth, more options off the bench, whereas Bosnia didn't. So, thankfully didn't have to chase the game and try and bring on substitutions to change the game. So having that goal was crucial for them. And, it's a shame they couldn't hold up for the rest of the game. But again, I think a point from this opening game is a really positive result and something they can really build on.
David Asmir mentioned that sea of red, and I think it's worth noting because there were concerns about how full or otherwise the stadium would be for this game and whether or not Canada fans would be outnumbered by Bosnia fans. But they turned up, the Canadians.
Yeah, they turned up, and as did the Bosnian fans. It was an excellent little section behind on the right-hand side from where I'm looking at the pitch. But these Bosnian fans, yes, it was a lot of sea of red, but these Bosnian players have played in environments over in Europe and that are a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Maybe hostile or more intense?
Hostile, yeah, 100% more intense. These Canadian fans, yes, they showed up, but there was certain lulls in the game where I think the players definitely needed them, and I think that's something, again, as a country, we are growing as well as.
And David, what you won't have seen, and that is being shown on the television over here, there's coverage on BBC One, live coverage on BBC One, and they're showing the footage from the fan parks in Vancouver, in Toronto, and around Canada, where there are thousands of people all dressed in that red of Canada and all celebrating that equalising goal and all getting behind the team. And if they do go on to have a successful campaign, already they've got their first point at a World Cup, then that is only something that can grow the game in the country. And yet Bosnia as well, Asmir, have put themselves in a good position in this group, which could end up being incredibly tight with Qatar and Switzerland in the mix as well. Ser Kolasinac was huge in this game today. Goal line clearance, really important of him. He's gone off injured though, and they will need him back because he was so important when he was on the pitch.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's to your earlier point, Kelly, as well. I think what's important on this point for both teams is the next game. So I think if Canada, they're going to be favourites against Qatar once again, you win that game, and you're then on 4 points, and everything looks much better as well. So it's all about that consistency and following it up. And as you mentioned, what a couple of key players for Bosnia, with the lack of depth in that squad, important players, as the vice captain said, Kolasinac has been there and done it, played for many big clubs, and obviously made many experiences for the national team as well. I thought Muharemovic, the other centre-half, the young centre-half next to him, was absolutely excellent. It's no surprise that the likes of Inter Milan are looking at him from Sassuolo. Nikola Katic was solid once again. He's always done, and same with Amar Dedic as a right fullback. So that's really important. That back four has been a big strength of Bosnia's for quite some time now. They protect the goalkeeper and obviously give them a platform to build on. So I thought they were all excellent tonight.
We talked as well about Canada and their first point in the World Cup. We talked about the importance of the substitutions that Jesse Marsch made. So let's hear from the Canada coach. Here he is.
Disappointed with the first half. I just felt we were tentative. We didn't play as aggressively as I would have liked. We've got to find a way that when we say we want to be aggressive and we say we want to play intensive and we want to be hard to play against, that we actually do it, right? So we talked about it afterwards, and second half, from the first second we stepped on the pitch, it was different. So I told them we've got to learn these lessons and we got to learn them quick. We still have everything in hand. That's a really big point for us, right? To keep ourselves in the group and make sure that we're not losing any ground. But we have to make sure that the next performance is a reflection and a learning point from what we did today.
And let's talk about momentum. You called on Toronto to show out and be red, and they were. Going to Vancouver, what is the message to maintain the momentum on the field and in the stands?
Yeah, look, Toronto, the city's been alive this week, so we've really enjoyed being here. I expect Vancouver to be the same. All the red jerseys were outstanding. We need the same in Vancouver. Keep pushing this team. Keep rooting on the goals. We got to give these guys confidence and make them believe that they can be really winners, right? So we'll keep pushing.
David, you can feel the energy there from Jesse Marsch coming through the radio, and you said it yourself that the speech that he would have given to the players on the pitch at the end of the game would have been an inspirational one. He's so animated on the touchline, and it looks as though that feeds in not just to the players but to that crowd as well.
Yeah, and that's not just Jesse in interviews, that's him all the time. He's authentic in what he does, and like I said before, he truly does care about this group and these players and wants them to get better and wants Canada to be successful. So we're lucky to have him, and he's animated on the touchline, but I think if anything that gives the group, you could see the whole bench stood up in the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just trying to urge the team on, and that comes from the manager.
There's been injuries within that Canada squad, and injuries to what would have been important players, but did the ones who were selected deliver in the way that you'd hoped in this game?
Yeah, the ones that came in, I thought Luc de Fougerolles, who's come in for Moise Bombita, was excellent. He's only 20 years old, playing at the back in his first World Cup in a home opener, so he was fantastic. And Kyle Larin came off the bench and did what he's supposed to do. So, yeah, I think with Canada, something we didn't have in the past is a player pool, a much bigger quality player pool that you can choose from, and Asmir touched on that. We've got strength and depth now to bring off the bench that some other teams don't have.
David,
I think some of you...
Sorry, on you go. No, you finish your thoughts, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying with your big hitters and the Jonathan Davids not quite at the races today, if you want to say it that, he was a little bit disappointing. At least you've got the likes of Kyle Larin and Promise Dave to come on and make an impact.
David, lovely to hear from you again. Thank you very much to David Edgar and to Vicky Sparks and to Asmir Begovic for joining us this evening. It finished Canada 1, Bosnia 1. The co-hosts have got their World Cup up and running.